the Liverpool 12th man. And we are going to be live and direct today. Had a little day off yesterday. A little day, we all need our own mental health days. So had a day off yesterday, but we are back to bring you reviews and news and team talk and the likes, everything that everybody usually likes to see or usually likes to be a part of. And we will be doing that all today. We probably will have some people be joining us, most likely. But for right now, it is myself, and I, little De La Soul there. And today we're going to be really looking into how can I even put it? Like some of the things that are going on since it's Friday. It's a TGIF Friday thing. So, we want to definitely make sure that you enjoy a little bit of what I have to offer from some of what's going on around the social media and some of the other links and discussions that people are having out there. So big up to those that are with me today. Red for Life, big up to you. Big up to those that hopefully got the alert. I don't know if it went out or not. Sometimes YouTube is like weird like that. They don't necessarily get the alert out there. But anyways, all that matters is that you're here, whether it's on live or whether it's the replay. And we wanted to definitely welcome you back for another episode of Liverpool 12th Man Show. It's your home for all things Mighty Reds. And once again, we're celebrating another dominant 2-0 victory over this time over Newcastle. I see Lee is with us too. I'm going to bring Lee in 1 second. As the Reds extend their lead, they extend their lead at the top of the Premier League to commanding 13 points. It's looking more and more like it's our title to lose. Big up High Lord. And it is more likely that we are going to be the ones lifting that trophy at the end of the year and hopefully seeing some red ribbons be put on it rightfully so that we can join the 20 mark with Manchester United and soon hope to be pushing past them in the title count at least. Big up Red Armchair Supporter. Big up High Lord, by the way, too. So I have a little bit of a recap, I guess. Big up to Lee. How you doing, Lee?
Good, mate. Couldn't be better, given the circumstances. There's nothing to moan about, is there?
Big up. Big up to Brian. Brian's joining us as well. Brian, how are you doing?
Well, am I here? Oh, yeah, I am. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're good. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good. Hope everyone's well. Hey, Lee.
Yeah.
Hi, Brian.
Yeah. Cedric, big up to you as well. I was going to give a little bit of a match recap. If you saw the title from what we had, this is not just a ratings and review show. It's going to have a little bit more involved in it. A couple of questions, a little dive into some of the other things that are going on in the world now that some of the pressure has been relieved on Liverpool as we go into this March with a little bit less madness involved for us. We have certainly done our part, and it seems like some of the rivals and some of the contenders have done their part in somewhat dropping the bag, I guess you could say. So I was going to do a little match recap and then get into some questions for the panel and then get into some other things that that I wanted to bring up as well. So let's just talk about match that we just saw, Newcastle at home and at Anfield. It was a game that we had Newcastle at home against a good team despite not having Isak involved in it. So let's talk about the early opener. Inside 12 minutes, obviously, we saw Szoboszlai find himself in what some could see as acres of space after a brilliant run down the left from Lucho. who cut back a perfectly timed pass, in my opinion. Szoboszlai didn't hesitate, and then boom goes the dynamite. Nick Pope had no chance on that one. The goal was a classic Liverpool goal, I would say, for this year. Fast, fluid, and clinical.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a really nice assist, the way Lucho just shunted it to him like at the last minute. It was a really, as was Mo's. Like Mo's was a lovely assist as well from McAllister.
Yeah, I agree. Agreed.
Yeah, they both had similar things to them. Like where, like it was on one side it was Mo, on the other it was Diaz, and then they cut it back for one of the midfielders. Like two lovely goals. Really pleased with them. And like the fact that we scored, two midfielders scored, as JK so rightly pointed out, that's what he was pleased with the other night. And it was pleasing to be able to beat a team without any forwards having to score a goal. Mo could have a night off, mate.
I was going to say too, or at least finish off what you were just speaking on too. Yes, Simicast had a golden opportunity to double the lead after another superb pass from Lucho. But let's just say his shot didn't exactly trouble the keeper. No harm, no foul though, because just after the hour mark, as we were just speaking on, as Lee was just speaking on too, Maka sealed the victory with a composed finish, thanks to a brilliant bit of work from our Egyptian king Mohamed Salah on the assist. We pretty much controlled the game. I think it wasn't really a close game, by the way. And despite what Hal had to say, or Newcastle's coach had to say about the game. But some might try to downplay this performance, but we're not having any of that on this show, as you already know. So let's get into some of these key discussion points that I had ready for the panel. I was going to ask you the question, and then you can all chime in the chat too, by the way, obviously. How crucial do you think Dominic Szoboszlai has been to Liverpool's attack this year, and how, especially as of late? How crucial do you think he is to this attack? There was a part and point when we all said that Grav was possibly the most, essential part of the midfield. There's been parts and points where we've said the same for Maka. Now you could honestly be making a consideration to be putting Dominic in that conversation. What's your thoughts, Lee?
Definitely, mate. It's the fairest of fair points that now he's like sort of completed the trio, because he wasn't getting any headlines early in the season, was he?
Not positive ones.
Gravenberch was from the first couple of games getting headlines, and McAllister too. The two of them together as a partnership. And John was sort of left out and went under the radar. But I thought he was still playing well in them early games. Okay, he didn't score and he wasn't as good as he has been recently. But I thought he still played well early in the season and was an integral part of what the side was doing. He's just upped the ante a bit, hasn't he, in recent weeks? Like, and we can see now that we've got a really good midfield. Like, if it carries on like this.
I think it's one of the best midfields. I keep emphasizing that. I think it's one of the best midfields in the Premier League. I think it is, but the question then goes to you, Brian. How crucial do you think Dominic Szoboszlai has been to the fluidity of our attack, and where does he rank in that importance, that essential importance of it? Do you think, in your own opinion?
Well, you know me, contrary as ever, I don't like the who's more important thing. I don't like to, he's more important than Grav, so someone else come back. No, you're wrong. Grav's more important. I just think he has found a way to do what he needs to do in this midfield, which was what got him into this midfield in the first place. The tactical work, if some people want to call it, the running, whatever, but the actual tactical work, which was kind of probably the main bit, and he's now found a way to do that, but also to go and be able to express himself as the player that he is and that we know he is. I just think he has found his moment. Grav was more kind of, it came to the fore earlier on, but I think with Dom, it's always been about Dom has underperformed at the top end. He's always overperformed in the middle, but when it came to, like Slot was saying, like, look, when he came in, yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, the work rate. But as an attacking midfielder for like a team like Liverpool, you got to be getting the goals and the assists. Not mega numbers, but you've got to get him up there. And he's now putting that final piece to his game. And whether that was just confidence or, you know what, because I've always thought Dom, it's just confidence. We've seen what he can do. It's just him getting in the team and having confidence now. So I think it's kind of all come together now for him to be able to do what he needs to do, but also do what we want to see him doing and what he wants to do. He wants to be getting involved, goals and assists, and showing us what he can do. So I just think, yeah, this is now maybe his moment, as it were, where he's come to the fore a bit, and we need that, because you cannot have one guy scoring all your goals. We threats from the middle. Someone like Dom, he's shown he can do that Lampard thing, arriving from late and just finishing off shots that no one's expecting him to be there. You know, they're occupied with our three strikers. So, yeah, I just think he's finally found what I've always kind of said. Like, there'll come to a point where we'll see the real Dominic Szoboszlai. I think this is the real Dominic Szoboszlai.
Okay. And I know what I meant too is I know that in the beginning of the year, people were languishing over Grav's importance, in the sense that he had grown to such an essential part of our midfield that the absence of him would be significantly felt. Obviously, Curtis Jones is someone that has some, at some points, even you could arguably say has battled for that 10 role, maybe, I guess you could put, but with Dominic. But you know, maybe it's because we don't necessarily have a like for like alternative. I know that Dominic and Curtis both bring two different approaches to the game, but they certainly are similar in the sense of that they can both play that 10 role for us. But that's what I just meant by, like, as in when I was saying essential, like if he's the now solidified himself as being a very essential part of the midfield or not. But
he certainly has in the last couple of games, hasn't he? These last two matches, City and Newcastle, he certainly has there. You could see how much what a big part of Slot's plans he is and what he wants to do with his side. Szoboszlai is going to be a massive part of that, like, isn't he? And hopefully he'll keep on scoring more and more goals. Like, we'll see him chip in a lot more now, hopefully. Like, yeah, it's all looking good. It's all looking. It just runs and that, and his flicks as well. Like, it's creative play is getting better as well, isn't it? Like, and that you can see his confidence it's oozing through him now, and this is what we want, isn't it? Like, to see the confidence oozing through him as well as the other players. It's all looking rosy, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just put down there, I'll star your questions. I see Dara just had a question. I'll star your questions, and I'll definitely bring them up into segments that pretty much some of the questions that normally do come up are questions that we're going to bring up or be talking about anyway. So I'll bring them up when we do get to those sections or those segments of the discussion. I'll ask this next question then. With Arne Slot serving his suspension, which is, I guess you could call it that, considering it was more like it's almost, it's not garden leave, but I mean, like, it seemed like it was like certainly a cozy spot to basically, you know, go and take care of the game. He gets to sit.
It didn't look too cold sitting on that particular naughty stack, did it? Like, he at least wasn't stone under his bottom. Like, he was nice and comfy and warm.
Yeah, it was raining too that day. So I mean, yeah, it didn't look that bad. He didn't have like any, you know, the coat on, and wasn't freezing, and looking like he at least looked like he was cold on the bench or something like that. He was sitting in the seats, you know, had his two deputies beside his side, and basically, you know, in the space in between. So, but with Arne Slot serving his suspension, did you notice any difference in the team's approach, or was it, in your sense, business as usual? Did you not really, other than you seeing obviously the video or shots, because they were going to show the shots of him being in the stands, Was it any? Did it seem like there was anything different without him being on the touchline for you, Brian? Possibly.
Absolutely none whatsoever. No, it was carbon copy of the Man City game. Obviously, well prepared, and I think maybe he was able to do what he needed to do, but he would prefer to be there, of course. But yeah, really just, I mean, yeah, seamless, I suppose. Yeah, seamless. No drop off, none whatsoever. Johnny Heitinga was good and vocal and visible. Being visible is probably the most important. He was that you could see them, give him the cajoling him, doing what needed to be done. So there was someone there when they looked to the bench. Someone was out front and center. So no, I just real and it got that speaks to the preparation, and it speaks to the professionalism and concentration of the players, and clarity of instruction as well, I suppose.
Okay.
Michael Owen was going on about that. I seen him going on about study regime, yeah, and he was saying, it's just small margins and all sorts of things, like with diet and all that, and like allowing them time off and all that jazz, right? Seen Owen talking about the slot, and McManaman and Benitez. That was quite good to see them on TNT, like the interviews with them. They were like in the studio with someone like talking about how Arnie's doing, and Rafa's giving him the seal of approval, which is good, as you would expect.
Cedric, I see that. That's funny. Here, I'll bring up this question, and then I'll bring up Dara's question as well here before I get into these last couple questions I have. At one point, someone has to ask the question: have you ever seen such a turnaround for a player like Gravenberch this season? I think
yes.
I wouldn't. I think it's like more so. I wouldn't put it as a turnaround because I don't think that he had a bad season last year. I know that some people.
Bad season.
Yeah, I don't think he had a bad season last year. I think it's just now we're seeing him in such a different role for the team, and people had such different expectations for him being in that role that it's highlighted it as being like a different interpretation of the player's performance and abilities.
He was in and out last season. He never had a long period, did he? Like, it was a bit fragmented because he had injuries like at different points, and so it wasn't a good first season to be able to judge the guy by. He wasn't on the pitch that much at the end of the day. Like, he didn't start that many league games.
Yeah. It was. I think it was. He had finally gotten a good run of games actually the year before this. And then I think it was Caicedo in that league final that ended up injuring him, and then after that it was back to I guess you could say page one for him to get himself healthy, get himself back into the run of trying to be important, utilized in our lineup, and it just wasn't the case for him last year. I don't think it was more that he suffered or anything. The other question that I did have on here was from Dara, and it was, any thoughts on what would have happened if the AFCON, if AFCON took place when it usually does, and that being, it normally takes place during January, and we end up missing out on our players that have ties to their African countries that they originate from, and also you could throw even in there the Asian tournament as well. Now we do have a Asian player that plays in that as well. I don't really look at it as would this year have been different. I understand the fact that we would have had to have gone through a segment without having Mohamed Salah, who has performed.
Yeah, it's not that long though, is it? He only misses like 2 league games usually or something when he goes to that he misses. I don't know. It's not loads, is it? Or 3. That's like, but that's if you don't get to the final though. He's only been missing that many. But yeah, I mean, if you took him out of our side in January.
I understand what you're saying, Lee. What I was just going to just finish, and then I'll get Lee. I'll get Brian's contribution on that question too, and that is what I was just going to say is last year we didn't have him in the obviously for AFCON, and to be honest with you, it was during that run of games that you saw a uptick in goal involvement from others on our team. All of a sudden, others started to kind of like click into gear a little bit and pick up the slack for him during that run. And I think that, like, despite the fact that he is a very big part of our team, I still think though that he would have been. This is just my perspective. We would have been able to supplement him not being there with other goal contributions from other players. You might have seen a little bit more emphasis in Chiesa, for instance, or you might have seen obviously Diego or Nunez being utilized, and maybe Lucho being played on the right side and Cody being played on the left side or something, or it would have been some dynamic that would have been able to possibly take care of that departure that you see.
Yeah,
go ahead, Lee. Go ahead, finish him.
Diaz and Salah, wouldn't we? Nunez, Diaz, and Gakpo. If we had no Salah, because Jota weren't fit, was he? And Chiesa weren't fit either in January, so we've only had 3 players really, wouldn't we? If Mo had gone to AFCON.
Yeah. How about for you, Brian? Do you have a take on that?
Yeah, I understand the question. Too many ifs. Just too many ifs. Mm-hmm. If he was gone, this guy might have played. He would have, might this, might that. It's too vague. I'm not trying to pass it off there, but it's like we don't know. We just don't know. I'm sure my only thoughts is we wouldn't have probably scored as many goals. We might have got as many points.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know. Normally with Mo, it seemed the thing used to be that he'd have a bit of a drop off. It wasn't really that we missed him. Like a player could be injured for a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could miss 3 games. I know we had a packed schedule. It's probably more what Dara is alluding to. We had a packed schedule. But a player can be out for a month and your team gets on with it. We speak about Arsenal not being, this whole thing that seems to be the new thing at the moment is arguing about who's had injuries and who hasn't and what is an injury and what isn't an injury. I don't give a shit. We have the players.
We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that a little bit.
Yeah, I just think this season, a lot of stuff has gone our way. I'm not saying we've been lucky, fallen our way. Just a lot of things have gone our way this season. But you can hand somebody all the opportunities you want. If they don't take them, you have to take those opportunities, and we've done that.
Mm-hmm.
But it just normally the vibe around Mo used to be that when he came back, he was off form a little bit, or would have his. I've heard it referred to as his famous post New Year slump, where he always goes quiet. So maybe, but I mean, yeah, of course, if you don't have a player like Salah who's performing like he is in a team like this, you're going to see a difference. But like you said, that would have just been an opportunity for someone else to maybe step in and do something. But if Mo had been going to AFCON this year, I think we may have addressed that in the transfer market differently in the summer, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, obviously, I'm just happy he didn't go. I mean, there was none this year. Like I don't, you want to have the best players. If some of those players are African, you have to be able to deal with it if there's an AFCON.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dustin's question, a good question, is how do we prepare to AFCON without being hindered next season? And I think the big thing that we've seen this year, at least from what we've seen in the rotation and the way that our coach has taken the approach towards playing with the players that he's chosen to play. It is a situation where, excuse me. I think we've shown the versatility of our players. and the flexibility in our coach with his various, alterations with the formations and being able to play different types, styles, and the likes, and not being intimidated to do so is very important. So it is pretty impressive how we have prepared for it, in my opinion, how we prepared for it. I'll ask this then. In yesterday's game, who do you think was the most dangerous player on the pitch? Who was the most dangerous player on the pitch? I'll ask that for both sides of the pitch too. Did you see any danger from them as well against us? And big up Squitley in the house. Big up Squitley.
I'll come in quickly on that and say no, really, from them. They didn't really. There were the two things for Wilson. One was offside. But also, I think Diaz was probably the most dangerous man on the pitch. They couldn't contain him. Diaz yesterday was all over the place, he running everywhere. And yeah, he was really good yesterday, Lucho, or whatever day, a couple of days ago, sorry, Wednesday night. Yeah, he was really good. Lucho, I thought he was our most dangerous player. I mean, you could say Szoboszlai was, but I would go for Diaz. I thought he was really good. Best performance in a while.
Okay. How about for you, Brian?
Well, yeah, for quite a while, Diaz was like a different player, like a new player. We haven't seen him play like that in a long time. Actually, kind of all the usual stuff he does, but the little moves were coming off, and not that he scored a hat-trick or anything, but just, yeah, he looked for a long time the player that was most likely to make something happen for us when he got on the ball, because it was, I know JK likes to talk about how he holds the ball on or holds onto the ball. Yeah, sometimes you can kind of hold onto the ball a bit too much. Just holding onto the ball, it's nice to relieve pressure. That's fine if you're under pressure and you want to give it to somebody and they can hold on to the ball and not lose it. Yeah, that'll allow your team to get up the pitch a bit. But you also need someone that can actually look dangerous and do stuff. And that's what Diaz, that's all I've ever wanted. And asking for the moon from Diaz, but to play like he did yesterday more often than not. And he did. He looked like a real live wire. Like someone said, he'd had his Weetabix yesterday. He'd had his, he'd had his power snack for lunch. That was it. So from them, I mean, Callum Wilson looked like a danger to anybody sitting in the cop. Basically, the first time you were likely to get a ball in the face. That looked pretty dangerous for a while.
Yeah.
So other than that, Gordon didn't really show up. Murphy, I think that front three maybe needs to work on its own. So no, not really, man. No.
Yeah, I didn't really see much.
Really, was there from them? There was not a lot from them on Wednesday, like in an attacking sense. As I said, there was only the two things with Wilson. Gordon was ineffective. Murphy was pretty much ineffective. We didn't let them.
Along with their midfield.
Yeah, it's more that we didn't let them cause us trouble and they weren't able to. You know what I mean? Just the way we played. We had a grip on the game, like, from really early on, didn't we? And just didn't let go of it until the whistle went.
Sleep.
Yeah. Big up, Namante. I got a question for you after you say your hellos to the panel and into the chat. How are you doing today?
Yeah, big up to all of Brian and Lee as always. And big up the chat. Blessings, man. Blessings.
Big up. Yeah, I was going to ask the question for the entire panel and for the chat too. Considering what we've seen Liverpool kind of get into gear with their last couple performances. Obviously, the Villa performance had a lot of people kind of in a little bit of remorse or a little bit of like Chicken Little status. But since that game, we have seen us definitely step it back up and, put the pedal to the metal a little bit more. And I was going to ask you, do you think that Liverpool can sustain this form and secure the title? Do you think that we can basically can we go on a 8, 9, 10 game run? Do you think, or are we going to have dips and are we going to have little struggles to get over the line? I'll ask that to you, Latte, first.
I think, yeah, we can sustain a run. We might have a draw here and there. I don't see us losing before mathematically it's done. I think minimum, I think we might have a defeat, maybe a defeat, but I see us being fine to the run, and then after, once it's mathematically confirmed,
You know what?
It'll drop off.
You know what? I think we might have a defeat if we're able to wrap up the title early enough and we're still in the Champions League. We might have a defeat then because we play like a weakened side in the Premier League because it's already won. But I don't think we'll lose a game unless that happens. Like the most we'll do is draw a few. Like, can't see us losing a second game unless we play a very weakened side. Like in the last couple of games because we're in the Champions League semi and final.
Yeah, Squitley's saying 5 wins. He thinks is all it's going to take. We're going to get into. We have a segment for that too, I believe. Or no, I don't know if I have a segment today. I have a segment for that tomorrow. My bad, but I do have a segment on that too. But yeah, 5 games is what Squitley is saying. Brian, do you think that we can go? We can go. Are we going to have, clear sailing for us all the way through, especially with a lot of our matches being home games that are involved with the Premier League, or do you think that we're going to have like little dips and valleys and kind of like making it a little bit interesting here and there, giving them a little bit of a whiff of hope?
Oh, well, I was kind of with you along the way until you said actually make it interesting. No, we ain't. No, they're just not capable. What's the Squiddy talking about the 5? Someone was saying, what was it, win 7 kind of thing? Win 7 from 11. I was like, ain't gonna need that. No chance. I'm with Squiddy. If we win 5 games, I mean that will make it. To me, it's just like I said, it's when not if at this stage. But yeah, we might drop. We might make it interesting for ourselves in the Champions League, especially with Paris away. First leg, ain't going to be an easy ride over there. But no, I don't think we're going to do anything in the league that will give little mini Pep down there in London anything to, go into training and get his boys G'd up about. I really cannot see it, man. We will take our foot off the pedal, probably. Yeah. You'll probably see us people get frustrated in a few games. It's because we'll know it's done. Yeah. I don't think we're going to give anybody a sniff. No chance.
Okay.
Especially not with Southampton at home next. That's going to be another 3 points on the board.
Yeah.
Always.
Should be.
Yeah.
There was something that we brought up yesterday, and what that was we spoke on. Let me see if I can get this to save. Nope. We spoke on Chiesa possibly not getting a league medal, or whether he was going to be eligible to get a league medal. I did do some research on that one just to clarify it in the likes. So let's address this, I guess, topic I don't know if it's been making the rounds or not, but let's just say it has, about obviously Federico Chiesa and some of the others, maybe even like maybe even a Harvey Elliott, whether they'll be eligible for a Premier League winners medal if Liverpool clinch the title. First off, let's clear up some of the misinformation out there. The Premier League's guidelines are clear. Players who make 5 or more appearances in a title-winning season are automatically entitled to a medal, period. If you play 5 games, you are automatically entitled to a medal. As it stands, Chiesa has made 3 appearances since his move from Juventus. With 10 games left, there's still plenty of time for him to hit that 5 appearance threshold. But even if he doesn't, let's be real, Liverpool will not deny Chiesa a medal. The league awards 40 medals per title-winning team, covering players, covering staff, and officials, with extra medals distributed at the club's discretion. So you can give like a little bit of a case scenario or previous case scenario. Excuse me, and that was the 2019-2020 season. Harvey Elliott made only 2 appearances. Technically, only 2 appearances, but still received a medal.
Yeah,
There was a year also when we had a player that never played a minute but was awarded a medal for his contributions in training and squad depth. So given Chiesa's involvement, making match day squads and contributing to training, he's almost certain to receive a medal, whether he reaches the 5 appearances or not. But I still believe that he will, because there's going to be a lot of games, possibly even more so than not, towards the end of the season when we do have it wrapped up, hopefully by then. You will see him get some appearances, considering that, we'll want to basically gauge the team's ability to get some rotation in, specifically because hopefully we'll still be involved in that Champions League push. So it's just something that I wanted to make sure that I cleared up. There is also something that I wanted to get into, and this next segment is something
before you move on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there anybody? I know we're all fixated on Chiesa for whatever reason, but is there anybody else in that position?
Harvey Elliott, I believe is in that position. I think so.
No, I think he's made the right number of appearances, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
He might be at. He's not. He might, because he missed a big chunk of time with his injury. He wasn't really playing that much before his injury. Then he had the injury. He started to make a couple appearances, but they're primarily been League Cup or games. But he might be around that five game mark. I'm not certain. I'd have to look.
Well, Dustin just put in Elliott made 10 Ks a 3.
Okay.
No, I'm just wondering, is there anybody else? Because it's a tight squad. I have no problem with that. And yeah, Yaros maybe. Yeah, I'm sure he'd get one. If he'd been on the bench, that he'd be given those discretionary ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just wondering, was there anybody else? It's mainly look like you were saying too. But between we're all talking about it now.
Brian, I was going to ask you this too. Maybe Rio, maybe like a Trainioni.
Leone's, that's what I was more thinking. That kind of person. Is there anyone like that kind of there? No, but it's just what you're like. We're all talking about this now. We'll have this league wrapped up pretty much.
Yeah, it's the Champions League semi, Brian.
Wait, let him finish. Let him finish. Yeah, let him finish. Go ahead,
No, I just wanted to say, when we look at the end of the season, this won't be an issue, because when we'll have it wrapped up and they'll have gotten their minutes, they'll have gotten their appearances. Chiesa, by the time we get to May, they'll have gotten the minimum 5. So I don't really see any issues.
It's the Champions League semi in early May. Is it like the first week of May or something like that? The Champions League semi, and then you've got the whole of May to wait for the final. Is that what it usually is? The first week in May? Because we could have the league wrapped up.
Near my birthday.
We needed a draw against Arsenal when they come here, and we could leave our big hitters on the bench to get that draw. That would be funny.
Because we might not even need that. I mean, it could be, if Arsenal doesn't get their act together, we could possibly wrap up the league even before that.
It would help us in the Champions League if we could rest all our big hitters. The sooner it's done, the better, mate. That'll help. I mean, we wouldn't need to rest them all the time. Just give them a good bit of rest. They'd still probably want to play maybe on the last day of the season, wouldn't they? At Anfield. But yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, wondering when we're going to wrap it up and how that'll have an effect on our Champions League campaign. I don't see us losing another game unless that's how it happens. That we've got it wrapped up and we rest so many players that we lose a game later in the season. Apart from that, if it's our normal side, I can't see us getting beat again. Not in the league.
Okay. Okay. The question for me was how does it work for Super Bowl winning teams? I know. I want a ring, by the way, but I don't think I'll be getting one. It's pretty much everyone in the team, everyone on the 53-man roster gets a ring. Coaches obviously get a ring. Executives get a ring. Staff gets a ring. Even the cheerleaders get rings, by the way. Yeah. Family members. Sometimes even the janitor gets a ring. Sometimes there's been the janitor who sweeps up the locker room afterwards. He'll get a ring. He'll get a Super Bowl ring as well. So they get very, very nice with their they don't give medals, by the way. They don't give medals here in America. They give you
but their names, aren't they? I mean, like, because I've seen them, like, I know a lot of these things are set up or whatever, but like in that pawn shop show or
Pawn Stars,
ones, and you'll see a guy like, oh, we've got you'll see this guy, what's his name, Chris or whatever it is, the guy, and he's like, oh yeah, like it's a Super Bowl ring, but it's only for sort of X, and then it'll say if you
because
had
there's three levels. There's like three different levels. Exactly. There's like an A level, a B level, and a C level, and it goes like A level.
They don't all get players, the same ring.
Right. Players and coaches get A level, and I think executives get A level rings, and then like B levels like staff, and then C level obviously would be like the cheerleaders. Ring. Their family members and stuff like that.
Because they're saying like sometimes, if you can, like the players would actually have their name on the ring, that'd be worth like $1 million. Whereas this one, like you were saying, this is probably one that the janitor got or the coach got.
Right. I know.
You know, it's the C level one.
Sweep up, huh?
Special name.
Yeah, it can pay to sweep up, basically.
No, because I just remember that. Years ago, he came in and there was a guy, and it was like a Super Bowl ring, and I was like, "Wow, it's a fucking Super Bowl ring," and he was like, "Yeah, but he was just, it's not one of the good Super Bowl rings. It's a kind of a lower grade one, yada yada yada." If it was
right,
I don't know, name a famous player who's
that's the NFL buys you the rings. That's because so what it does is like it's up to I think it's like 140, 150, something like around there, 150. Let's say it is. The NFL it would be like the Premier League, paying for everyone's medals, obviously. So in essence, the NFL pays for 150 rings, and then everything beyond that. Let's say you want to give out members or the family, you want to do all the different things or people, whatever. Then after 150, that's when the team has to pay for it themselves. So they dictate how many people, but they'll pay up to 100. Usually the team will go up to 150 because there's a lot. And there's 53 people on the roster. So that's already 1/3 of the rings right there. Much less like if you have staff and all other stuff. But anyway.
Freaking cheerleaders. I'd rather have the cheerleader than cheerleader ring, to be honest. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a whole nother conversation. But before we go down that route, let's. I
just mean they're good role models. They're good. They're good role models.
Right. I wanted to get into this little segment here that if you saw in the title, it says obviously Szoboszlai shines, media excuses, and Arteta under pressure. This is that media excuses, and some of it being more so content creators, but there has been narratives that have been written and are being acclimated by pundits as well, whether they're former or former rival pundits or even former Liverpool pundits that are turning out this kind of content. And so let's just talk about something that has been making the rounds, in my opinion, in the media. Some pundits have been downplaying, and I really emphasize this, have been downplaying Liverpool's incredible form and incredible, situation, blaming injuries at other clubs for the Reds' dominance. I think it's funny because, we were told to, shut up about our injuries You know, we were told after we won the Premier League, and it was already labeled as this pandemic. There was another word for it, but we're not supposed to say that on YouTube. So when we were told this pandemic, pandemic year, or it's a pandemic title that we won, we were also called to say that we had the worst team. We're the worst team to have won the Premier League, and then following up the next season with the performance that we had. And even though we did battle that year I believe we got third place that year after that performance, after that year, and that was a big push, considering that we lost so many vital players in that. And that was from the very gate. We lost vital players. I mean, we lost VVD early in that campaign. You know, the definitely the talisman of our defense. We lost Matip. We lost Joey G. We lost so many players in that run. And that's just defensive minded, at least. But we're told, hey, buck up, get on with it. Those are excuses. That's this, that. And we did. We pretty much did. We saw our team be resilient, fight for a spot in Champions League. They had an incredible performance, and they ended up or resilience to actually perform, bringing out squad players that some squad players that aren't even with us any longer, but other squad players that are still with us, but some would scratch their heads to find them on the roster list. But all the same, a few months ago, these same pundits were claiming Liverpool were finished, that their era at the top was over. But now that the Reds are flying, suddenly it's all about injuries at rival clubs. It's incredible how the narrative just like shifts and changes. It's like on some chameleon style settings. And I'm going to bring up some of these parts and points. Let me make sure I have this ready for us. I'm not necessarily going to play the video. I'm not going to play the actual videos that you see the people actually speaking, but I will play the actual I will play, at least so you can hear the segments. So let me just get this ready here. Make sure. Okay. So hopefully, let me make sure I have this all set. If it's not playing in the chat or even in the panel, if you guys can tell me, if you don't hear what's being said, please do tell me. This was off a segment from Igal Talks Football. He's a Arsenal football content creator, but this was off of his channel, but I saw it on actually a segment that has a name just like myself. They're called the 12th Man Football. A football 12th man, they're called, the channel. Okay, so tell me, make sure that you can hear this as well. Make sure, and I'm going to begin. I know you're not going to be able to hear it because I just saw this thing come up. Give me 1 second here. Let me bring it back. Bring it down and bring it back up. Some reason, sometimes when I try to play segments, whether it's video, and I try to include the actual sound, it just for some reason it cuts out and doesn't do what I needed to do. But all right, here you go. Tell me you can hear this. Ready?
I'm telling you right now, everyone is scared.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Oh, hold on 1 second. And it's going to a commercial, of course. I should have played it before. Let me just give me a second. All right.
I know people think this is delusional.
I just put myself spitting my water out. What?
Liverpool on decline. This is their final season at this level. Mo Salah's going to be leaving. Trent's going to be leaving. Van Dijk, we don't know if he's even going to stay. Man City have to rebuild their whole team pretty much. Their defense, their midfield, their attack is the only thing that they have sorted. Arsenal are going to dominate. I'm telling you. And when people say to me, "Oh, Igal, why are you so confident?" Because I see the vision. I see where we can be and where we can go. We have the defense, we have the midfield. We literally are missing a couple of pieces in the attack to having a complete team where everyone's going to be fearful of every single level. I know you're smiling.
It's so long, man. This is the longest process in the world. Jesus.
You want to know something? We were too early 2 years ago. We should have won the league, though. Still, we can still get better right now, easily.
You could get
easily could get better. Easily could get better. So, it's kind of interesting that he had to say that. The last part. Let me bring up this last little portion of it because this is interesting too. By the way, this is so interesting. Some of the segments that he said, because what is so interesting about it is that he even transitions to talk about, and this is a guy he said he's going to die on this hill, and they're talking about how Liverpool has been fortunate to have, 7 out of 11 players that are normal starters to be available for them for the majority of the season. Discounting the fact that we've had still some important parts of our spine not be available. Obviously the goalkeeper is a integral part of our team, and Ali was out for a considerable amount of time where we had to go through the run without him in the lineup. We've had parts and points where we haven't had Ibu, who is obviously the preferred center back pairing currently for VVD in this team. We haven't had the hands-on starter, the starter that started the majority of our games in the beginning of the year was obviously the coach's pick to be our starting number 9 was out for lengthy periods of games. Okay, we even had Cody Hakpo be out. We've had squad members that are important members of the bench be out, whether it's Harvey Elliott or even we haven't gotten the possibility to see Chiesa in that role just yet. But all the same, Ali's out for 8 games. Ibu's been out for 6 games. Diego's been out for 10 games. Cody's been out for, I think, like 3-4 games or something like that, So it's just interesting that he's starting to push this narrative, but yet he's pushing it, after, and this is a point, and I'm going to play some more clips for you. He's pushing this narrative, and he's not alone in this push, but he primarily is pushing this narrative where he's bringing up Havertz, but Havertz has been out just the past 2 or 3 games or something like that. He's pushing this narrative about Martinelli, but Martinelli, again, has been out for 2 or 3 games. He was a part of that. Havertz and Martinelli were both a part of the run that Arsenal's been going through. It just so happens that Arsenal has not been good enough to keep pace with our team. And
they were 9 points behind us when they had all their players fit. When all their players fit anyway, they were 9 points behind us. So they're talking out their arse, aren't they?
He's talking out of his Chiesa, yeah, because you can bring up Saka, who has missed I think like 12 games, or excuse me, Odegaard, who's missed 12 games, right? And then I think Saka's missed 9 games currently. All right, well then you could subtract that from from Ali and maybe subtract it from Diego, as being integral parts of our team that were not available, but all the same, they keep pushing and pushing and pushing this narrative, absolutely pushing and pushing this narrative. And I have 2 segments that I want, two quick segments, and then I have another segment as well that I want to play. But this was the segment here from
Odegaard missed. How many games has Saka missed? Because I'll tell you right now, how many games has Martinelli missed? Before you answer that, Jota's missed 10 games, Alisson missed 8 games, Konate's missed 6 games, and Elliott's missed 10 games. That's without any of their other injuries to Gomez, to other players in the squad, squad fillers. So tell me how many games 29's missed, Jesus and all these. No, let's not flip it.
How many players have not missed games at all? Because I can tell you
that's irrelevant. How many players didn't miss games last season? We had Saka missed no games. Saliba broke a record.
This is League Honor and this is Egal.
No, I'm asking you a question, Miguel. And you're flipping it to how many have not missed a game. Saliba never missed a game last season. Miguel, Saliba, you asked me a question, I'll tell you. Saliba never missed a game this season. He never missed a game. The season before that, it was, that's the reason we bottled 8 points because we had Rob Holding. Okay, well, he played every minute of every game last season.
Yes.
And we still didn't win the league. Bukayo Saka was barely injured at all last season. We didn't win the league last season. Martin Odegaard played nearly every minute of every game. Didn't win the league last season. 29 played nearly every minute of every game last season. Didn't win the league last season. Gabriel Martinelli played the majority of games. Trossard filled in every now and again. We didn't win the league last season. Timber was the only injury we really had. And Thomas Partey because of one of them ones.
Are you able to hear it or no? There's no sound.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Well, unfortunately, I am able to hear it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Got you. It's just interesting how the narratives get twisted and turned, and you might say, "Oh, well, make sure I play this part." You might say, "Oh, well, that's just the Arsenal guy talking his mess." That's it is what it is with that.
The gap now is 13 points.
That's just Arsenal being that's a gal being the gal or something.
13 points back to the day yesterday.
So
what was said, and I want to get your opinion.
But I did speak of former Liverpool players that are now pundits. Okay. I believe this is the I forget what show this is, but this is a show that plays on your side of the pond. Okay. And I'm gonna play this segment real quick too. I'm gonna play this segment. Sure. Because it's Gary Lineker. It's his show. I don't know what show that he has over there. But
all of the shows.
What's it called?
All these shows.
Oh yeah, all these shows. That's what it's called.
Well, he's match of the day, but now he has the podcast.
Oh, he has a bunch of different. Okay.
Yeah, he's got lots of stuff online, so it could be from any of those things. But I think match of the day this year is no.
Hear the statement. It's not because I know match of the day is I believe with Righty and Kelly, I believe is who does match of the day now or something. But next year.
Next year.
Okay, next year.
They're going to change it to 3. It's going to be Mark Chapman, Kelly, and someone else. Ian Wright won't be the host of it, but it's going to be Mark Chapman, Kelly, and
I think they do their show together now, though, don't they?
Oh, he does a show with Ian Wright. They do shows together. Yeah, but Match of the Day is like the BBC flagship highlights program. So Ian Wright doesn't host that, but he's going to be a guest on.
Okay. All right. This show is again it's Gary's show, or he's hosting this show. He's got Warnock on there. This is Warnock's opinion. This is Warnock again saying some craziness. Hopefully you can hear this point.
The gap now is 13 points, and Arsenal's injuries really in forward positions are telling.
Yeah, they really are. And you've got Havertz at 9 goals, Martinelli 6, Saka 5. If Liverpool lost Salah, Jota, and Diaz and Gakpo, they wouldn't be in the position they are in.
So again, he's not Igao and others are not alone. They are all pushing this narrative of trying to emphasize that maybe we're fortunate that we have these injuries for the contenders or people trying to contend for this title with us. And it's one of those cases where it's like every team has to deal with injuries. Every team has to deal with injuries.
Yeah, they laughed at us last season when we were moaning about our injuries, saying, "Oh, it's all part of football, mate. Everyone has them." Well, it's your turn now. So there you go. It was our turn last season when we were suffering last season. Their fans were laughing at us, saying, blaming injuries for your drop off. Well, now you're doing it. It's your turn.
So, again, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. This is the last segment. This is the last part and point. The last segment I want to bring up. And I hope that you can hear this. This is quick. It's only like no more than 25-second long clip here. But again, why I'm saying that the narratives have changed and what it's wild when considering that we're in this position, the sheer fact they've only lost one game this entire year. We've lost one game this entire year in the Premier League. And yet how they're twisting and twerking and trying to get it so that they can somehow take away some of the brilliance this year has shown for us is absolutely incredible. But these are the takes. This is, for instance, this was on the show. Oh, shoot. I'm going to forget what this show is.
Anyone would think we were just about to take the unbeaten thing off them, like, you know what I mean, and ride with it. But, you know, we've lost the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're not that bad. We're only taking the league. It's only the league we want. Like, you can keep your unbeaten record till another time. Maybe we'll do it in the future. The Invincibles.
I don't know. Warnock for me is not. It's not my favorite. Warnock's not my favorite. I'm sorry, Dustin. But I don't know. I've heard him have some crazy takes. Sometimes it seems like you forget that he played for the team. But I get it. Sometimes pundits try to go a little bit overboard with trying to seem like not, having no biases, but all the same. To each his their own. Dustin, to each his their own. This was on the club, and this is what I mean by the narratives that were easily being somewhat brought up. And this is a wild, wild take, in my opinion, but you're going to hear what they have to say. Here it is. This is the last one.
Honest on you. I know. Like, come on now. Jurgen Klopp has just walked out the door. Jurgen Klopp has got on you. All in sixth. Let's take a look. Jurgen Klopp has just walked out the door. Jurgen Klopp has gone. They haven't got the best squad. Klopp's been over.
You hear that? I want to make sure you hear that.
Jurgen Klopp has gone. They have.
You heard that, right? I just want to make sure that you did hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is someone on the club speaking on. Again, I don't even know his name. I don't care about his name really that much, but all the same, if you want to go see it, or if you want to see the segment, it's on the club. I think the football terrorists also did a segment too, highlighting this segment, or at least this.
Yeah,
this
I'd like to go back and hear some of the stuff that they all said, because I can't remember like a lot of it now. Like, but they were all crowing that we were done once Jurgen was gone. Weren't we? Just saying once Klopp leaves, you are finished.
Yeah. But hear this part and point. Arnie, who is what this guy had to say.
Honest on you. I know. Like, come on now. Jurgen Klopp has just walked out the door. Jurgen Klopp has gone. They haven't got the best squad. Klopp's been overperforming for years with that team, and I just don't see. I don't see it. I think Salah's starting to fall off a bit. Legs are going. I think there's going to be problems there, big problems. Yeah, and sick for me.
Wow.
So,
who is this guy? I mean, if it's just a noise, it's just a voice. Who did he use?
Yeah.
He said it's
on the club. I will get the name for you. I'll get the name for you.
Is the club a channel? You mean?
The club is a channel. It's on by
Rory.
Rory. Yeah, Rory, Boovy.
That's a great name, Booby. Okay, I'll be
Boovy.
Boovy.
Boovy is a Manchester City fan. Rory is a Chelsea fan, and then he has McKenna, who is a Manchester United fan.
Yeah.
They used to be on the kickoff, and then when that whole situation occurred with True Geordie, they left the kickoff and created their own channel, channel on their own, which is pretty sad. That's pretty sad that they did that to him. But
you know why they left, right?
Oh, I know why they left.
Yeah. You know why he's basically irrelevant now, right?
Oh, yeah. Why he's taking a big hit? Yeah, certainly.
Yeah,
well, there's the reason why. It's the reason why Lawrence McKenna left too. A big reason.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't want to be associated with him. If I would,
what happens?
Well, that'd be. You can.
We could go into that another time. I guess we'll even talk about.
No idea.
But it's something to deal with. It is a reprehensible statements that he made that definitely he had to apologize. But he's made a lot of off the out of bounds comments as well before that too. All the same. Yeah, I'll get you the name of that too, by the way. Let me get you the name of that. Hold on a second. But that was the club that he was speaking that show was coming from. That was early on but before the tenure of Arne Slot, obviously. It's something that wasn't he wasn't alone in. I mean, I know I've heard that apparently the fake Don has come back to, apologize for his comments, apparently. But even, Don Hussam said, went on the whole anti-Arnie rant. We've had other content creators say the things about Slot and how, they weren't going to support this. They even went as far as to say they won't support the team any longer because we had chosen Slot. But a lot of those, some of those people are now fully on board. It's just I just brought up those parts and points because, it's incredible how quickly people don't recognize, A, the internet never forgets, and B, it's not easy. It's not easy, and I'm not trying to give them a pass, but it's not easy doing what some of us do here as being content creators. It's not easy being having your face or your voice being associated with predictions or comments or associated with your impressions or interpretations of the team or the likes. It's not easy. However, you do definitely put yourself in a place to be ridiculed and mocked if you make some asinine comments about Mohamed Salah. His legs are going. He's on the down. He's on the down.
I mean, the Arnie Who thing. I mean, I was like that myself a little bit. It's like, who is he? Don't know him, mate. Where's Xavi? But as soon as shut up about that, and got over it. Even before, I got it over it immediately at first. I was like, who is he, man? I'm pissed off. No Xavi. And then I accepted it, and the season started, and it's been grand.
Yeah.
But I was a little bit at first.
It's just wild. It's wild because, oh man, a lot of people are acting like we don't have we can't use that thing called Google or go back and at least go back to the times where they actually said these incredibly insane things. But yeah, 6th place is what that guy had us at. I can't remember what team he supports. I'm gonna get his name. He's not a regular on the club, by the way. He's not a regular on the club. Some of these guys, I think, say things just to get a rise, just to get kind of to be that edgy person on the podcast or on the episode. It was just so funny, so funny to see. But yeah. They're gonna recognize his name certainly when some of these coaches are in stage 6, 5, 7, whatever, and yet this coach is about to do something that is it's been done before. Let's not get it twisted. It has been done before. But
I predict there'll be some good Arnie songs made up by our fans soon. There'll be new, more elaborate ones as time goes on. I think Arnie chance, especially after we won the league again.
It's definitely been done before. Let me see if I can find this one. I'm gonna find that episode for you. I love Klopp as much, but I've loved this club for far longer, and I don't play favorites. Okay, I got you, Lee. I got you. Big up to Lee WizKid in the house. Good to see you. Big up to Rosem Jarrett, by the way. Good to see you. Red Armchair supporter. Good to see you. Dustin, obviously. I said hello. I don't know if I said hello officially, but Dustin, how you doing? And all those that are joining us as well. Big up to everyone that's joining us for some of these comments that I just wanted to make sure that we kind of like touched on. It was the reason why I was bringing up the narrative perspectives, the whole thing. How do you guys feel about some of the things you just heard? And do you think that it's like, it's a shame because so often the narratives get shaped by not only, obviously the media trying to drum up some type of controversy so that they get ratings and get people to click, whether you're pro or anti whatever is being spoken on. But what do you feel about this whole like trying to diminish this year with the whole the league is poo-poo. I'm not gonna say the curse word, but is poo-poo basically the poo-poo emoji, or that the injury perspective. Like, what is your take when you hear someone say those things when you're trying to engage in an actual conversation about the accomplishments of this team this year? How do you feel, and what is your normal response if someone goes down that route? I'll ask Delonte that because I know that you've been passionate about this year. All three of you have been passionate about this year, but I'll ask Delonte first, and then I'll ask Lee, and then Brian.
What can I say, man? Listen, man. No, big up Arsenal, man. Big up Arsenal, man. Great team, historic club. You know what I mean? Winning titles every season. Champions League's galore. Big up Arsenal, man. Doing everything, man. You know what? Poor old Arsenal. Man. Injuries, isn't it? Injuries. There's something, isn't it? Injuries. If we had all our players back, they'll win the league, won't they? Big up Arsenal. I'm sure they've won the Premiership. Did they win the Premiership last season? No. It was the season before. No, I'm sure Arsenal done the treble. No, did they? No? Oh, no. But then again, Arsenal won the Champions League, haven't they? Yeah, they won it about 3-4 times. Man. Good old Arsenal, isn't it? Good old Mikel Arteta, isn't it? He was the next best thing since sliced bread, isn't it? Damn, don't forget last season. Oh my God, Mikel Arteta job for Barcelona. Oh my God, he's the next super coach, isn't he? Oh yeah, I mean they've got injuries, haven't they? I mean they've got 3 injuries, haven't they? I mean not as if any other team in the world gets injuries, do they? I mean, poor old Arsenal, isn't it? We ain't good attack, and yeah, I mean it's meant to be City, wasn't it? City. City to win the league, innit? Good old City. As my fellow colleague from Brian alluded, City with the drop off. I mean, it's meant to be, but what? Wait a minute. What do I see in the distance? I see a force of red coming to town. Who is this Arnie slot? Who is this slot machine? Oh no! Don't forget, Dutch managers have always failed in the Premier League, so why would he? No. Wait, he's bald, like Ten Hag, so he's going to be a flop. I mean, yeah. I mean, it just came from final, isn't it? I mean, really, what's he going to do with this Liverpool team? Klopp is gone. The team's dry. We don't know where we're coming or going. It's going to be another one of this season as well. To end the fact as a quote, as I said myself, fool me once, fool me twice. Shame on you, Arsenal. You've been bitten by the better team. On deux, trois, quatre. Shame on you, Arsenal. You've lost. Stop crying about injuries. He's a cone man. Phase 5, phase 1. We've come in, and what are you going to do about that? Still Champions League. Ego and all these people can cry. Hold that. And guess what, guys? Season hasn't finished, has it? It has not finished. Oh, if we do what we do, I'm not going to say, I'm going to be on the next. And it's not just their next. Some of, and unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I have to apologize. Some of our fellow podcasters, I mean, you know who I'm talking about. Some of our little podcasters about certain people. I'm going to be on the next two. I'm going to be unbearable. If we do what I think I do, because my favorite number, which I'm not going to mention, if you check it out. Unbearable, but that's fine. Liverpool FC, we're boring. We're lucky. That's what I've got to say. Lucky FC.
Right.
Okay. I'm trying to find the actual name for the participant in this. Because I have the clip, but I don't have the clip from the club, but I don't actually have the I don't necessarily have the actual I have the full segment is on their Spotify or something. It's on some other service, so that's why I don't have the full segment. It's just a clip of the actual club that was on there. I'm trying to see if I can get his name for you though, because this guy definitely needs it. Realism Jared, it's not Boovy that's saying that, by the way. It isn't Boovy. It is not Boovy. On this episode, let me, you know what I'll do is this. I will show you a still of the guy as well. Let me get to the part and point where he says it. 1 second.
Bottom 3 years. Hey.
It's going to commercial, of course. But yeah, I'll show you the picture. That won't. I don't think we'll get copyright.
Ipswich, Southampton, and Forest. And yours is Ipswich, Forest. And I just don't see.
Okay. This is the guy who it was, and I'll show it to you right here. Full screen. This guy right. This is the guy. That's who was speaking in the segment, by the way.
Okay.
This individual. This is obviously on. If you want to watch the episode, it was predicting. I have a segment. The segment I saw one was from the Football Terrace, but I also have. This is the full. This isn't the full episode. This is the full clip of the part where they do predicting the Premier League 1 through 20. I have no idea who that is. I know. I think he's still in some type of not being recognized, but he is someone that shows up on the club quite a bit here and there. And let me think. And this is the other. This is Rory. And this is the other gentleman that was on the episode with them. Just so in case you do try to find it, I'll try to put the link. Yeah, I'll try to put the Miles. Okay. Yeah, this is the segment though. So if you guys are trying to look for it, that's the segment that it is, and this is on the club. That's they do their own commentary and the likes. But this goes on to push into another question. This is something of a fun little segment too. I'd like to dive into dealing with that kind of drama and the likes. I guess Nalante, did you guys want to comment on that before I go into the next segment, or did you want to just push on? Lee, Brian, did you want to?
It's hard for rival fans to stomach because even the most reasonable Red anywhere on the planet wouldn't have predicted how well we were going to do this season under Slot. If you would have told me, like in the summer before the season started, that we'd be 10 games away from the end of the league season and we'd only lost one of them. You know what I mean? That's been
I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have said that. No way. I wouldn't have said that. We've got. I wasn't brave enough to say that we were going to get off to the start that we did. Heck no.
Yeah.
I thought that we would. I thought that we'd do well, and I thought that we would. I definitely had us predicted as being able to lift the title this year. But I wouldn't have said that we'd go, undefeated for as long as we did. And the only blemish on our record
we could scarcely believe because we how well we were going to do, and that's the thing about it. Even we're surprised, so they're even more surprised, and it's even more gut wrenching. It's hard for them to comprehend it and retain this information comfortably inside their minds without striking out and saying it's because of this or because of that. No, we just appointed a really good manager, mate. That's what it's been. That's what happened. We appointed a really good manager, and we're going to win the league because of it. Not because you got injuries, because you were in our slipstream anyway, 9 points behind us when everyone was fit. Stop your crying. It's ludicrous. Try again next season.
Okay. Okay. Did you want to make a quick comment or a long comment? It's up to you, Brian. Or no comment.
No, that's football fandom, you know. Arsenal fans going to slag off Liverpool.
Yeah.
Start the season, I wouldn't expect anything less. Like Danny, let them be. We do, man. We do. I exist in our.
Oh, mate, I felt violently ill when United completed the treble in 1999. My boss was a Man United. Well, he wasn't my boss. He was my manager. He was a Man United fan at the time. He was a lovely bloke, though, and he wasn't weird about it. But it was a horrible time when Man United done that treble. Horrible.
By the way, that episode that I was just showing you has gotten over 234,000 views, by the way.
That's why they do it. They do preseason predictions, and 8 months later, you look like a fool. Because that's what preseason predictions do to you. They make you look like a fool. So then what do? They throw it back, they clip it up, and they put it back up. That's what I hate about YouTube and what I hate about people in general. It's just that guy's been hung out to dry because he came out giving a chest, being a Man United supporter, whatever he is. He looks like a City supporter to me. I'm
gonna pick.
He looks like one though. He looks like a City supporter. So they're going to come out and give it the big one. You know, it doesn't get under my skin. I just sit there and go, who are these no marks that are getting paid to sit there acting like they're like I'm not saying you're calling, but these guys aren't pundits. A pundit to me is an ex-player that's on a show that gives his opinion. That's what I consider a pundit. If you have a show, you've got a presenter. Gary Lineker could be both because he's an ex-player, but he's presenting the show. And when you've got ex-players, those to me are pundits. Those guys are just content creators. I can go on. I'm a content creator. I don't know anything about football. I'm a content creator. I can talk about it. Do you know what I mean? It's just so to me, these guys don't get under my skin. If you got people, because there's too many of them. If I let them, it'd just be rage all day. Back in the day, maybe I would have gone on for an hour and just said, right, I'll have to go back because it'd be easy. But at the moment, I just, what? Let what do they call it? Let it flow over you like water or something. We just pop up the other
Be
end.
like water. Be like water.
Yeah, be like water. Just be like water, and they won't have anything at the end of the season. Only their bitterness and their excuses and their stats and their this and their that's, and you'll be the ones holding the trophy.
Well, you got to chew on a bit of grittle in life sometimes, haven't you?
Okay. Let me see if I can. This one has it in it. The other thing I was going to talk about, because this is a segue. Speaking of salty, there's that word that is often used on the internet, and it's called. And a lot of people hear a lot of people use it over anything and anything. Oh, he's rattled. Oh, he's rattled. This is what we are and where we are right now, and that is the question is being put out there: is Arteta rattled? Arsenal needed 3 points. Obviously, needed 3 points against Forest after a disappointing home loss to West Ham. Instead, they managed just a 0-0 draw, allowing us to stretch our lead even further. In Arteta's post-match interview with TNT Sports, he showed some signs of frustrations, and that was easily said. He said, this is his quote, "We're disappointed not to get the 3 points, even though we dominated the game from start to finish. We certainly tried. The spirit, the energy, unquestionable, but we lacked the final ball, that spark to open them up. With only 4 wins in their last 8 league matches, pressure is mounting on Arteta. The expectations were sky high this season. They were obviously the undoubtable preseason favorites for a good number of people that didn't have, at least it was either City or Arsenal. You had pretty much by a good number of the pundits. I showed you that BBC total or a tally of all the BBC pundits and comment and contributors that had just City or Arsenal winning the league this year. But Arsenal looks set to fall short again, set to set a record. Let me bring Brian Nalante back in here real quick. Set to perform a accomplishment only Arsenal has done before, and that is possibly end up in second place 3 years in a row. Bravo to you. It's an award I'm sure that you'll probably put on your walk of your walk there next to all the other awards that you try to put there. But one thing is why I'm saying Arteta seemed to be rattled, as people as the kids like to say these days, and that is because he was being asked a couple of questions by the TNT commentator or a TNT presenter, and he kept going on about how he doesn't want to talk about that. He doesn't want to say anything about those things. He's just trying to move past, and it was seeming like he just didn't want to really address some of the hard questions, some of the questions that some of his fan base is bringing up, some of the questions of like what with the emphasis of getting a striker, or maybe some of the rigors of the year are starting to finally wear through, or other cracks in the team. Just didn't want to deal with those questions. Kept it pushing and moving on. And obviously, you could say yes, that's maybe not a sign of a person rattled, more so just a person trying to protect his club. But all the same, it does seem like he is a little bit rattled. What are your thoughts on that? And I have a follow-up question too, as well, to all this. What are your thoughts on, is Arteta possibly showing the cracks and rigors of, is he on the hot seat for you? If I know we don't really necessarily care about Arsenal, but like to that extent, but it is just something to talk about. It is fun.
His job was safe. I'd imagine his job was safe. Like,
hear you. We can hear you, Monte.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead, Lee.
I'd imagine Arteta's job safe. I must say, Calafiori had that splendid effort, didn't he, onto the post with his right foot. That was a really good try, but apart from that, he didn't have much, did he? Forrest didn't, from what I only seen brief highlights. Like, I haven't watched it in full or anything, but that was the closest he come, wasn't it, Calafiori? But I think Arteta will still be there next season. I don't see them booting him out just because he hasn't won the league. He'll probably keep himself in his job, won't he? And then we'll see what they do in the summer for forwards. They probably need, I don't know. They do need like a few forwards, don't they? They don't just need one. They're not like one player away from winning the title, in my opinion. Arsenal, they need more than that. They might need something different in midfield, who knows? But they haven't been good enough to keep up with us, and that's the long and short of it. And I'm not going to fucking worry about them, too much. How they feel about it. Like, it's our title. It's going to be our 20th, and we deserve it. Hand it over, Manchester. And cry about it. Arsenal.
Because when Bruno loses,
Okay. How about for you, Nalante? We can hear you now too, so give us your thoughts.
Oh, about the asses? Oh, about that press conference? I mean, again.
Yeah.
Pressure, innit? When you, elite, great managers win good big things, good mentality, and he's, Arsenal. No, look, 12. Let's come on, chat. To be fair, let's be honest, guys. Can we be serious for a minute, please? Can we just be serious for a minute, please? Let's not disrespect Arsenal, yeah? Let's not disrespect Arsenal, because you know what? Arsenal are going to do it first this season. That hasn't happened in Premiership history, so let's not disrespect Arsenal. They are going to be the first team to finish second 3 times in a row. So don't disrespect Arsenal. Don't disrespect them, yeah? Yeah? 3 times in a row, innit? Second place, innit? Come on. That's a football club. And in terms of Koeman, again, he's rattled. He's just rattled. I mean, the red cards and injuries is just sour grapes, actually. He's bottled it, and So be it. And I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. Never rated him. The only Arsenal fans I respect is what's his name, Lee Gunner and Turkish, because they tell it how it is about him. And Lee Gunner, I remember saying that he's not good enough, and he's been exposed, and that's it. That's it. 700-800 million spent, you know. And like I said, like Lee said, when the slot came in, I've said it many times. I think you and JK, see, Brian wasn't 100% sure. But I said, apart from a few, and obviously Beijing and Pops have said it again, I don't know, but I think the majority of us would sit here and say at the start that I was expecting, you know what, Klopp's gone. It's just going to be another year of rebuild, which I was like, oh, great, but it is what it is. I've got to give Slot time, regardless of whether you want him or not. And I thought top 4 in the cup would be fine. But look, fair play. And he's shown what he can do. Now, the summer, I don't even want to talk about the summer because we get to there in terms of who we have, what we do. But we're talking currently now, man. Honestly, man, it's great. And old Code man is having the cracks because a man has come in and just kind of outclassed him. He's just outclassed him. There's levels. You know what I mean, Brian and Lee?
Yeah, he has. He's embarrassed him a bit, like, and he's just come in and you've been trying to win the league the last 2 seasons really hard, have you? Okay, I'll come in and have a go.
Look at the comments.
The cards have just fell for us this season, haven't they? Like, there's been many seasons where they haven't. But I was expecting all I was hoping for was top 4 this season. I was just hoping that we'd get Champions League.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but Tom, can you pick some of these great comments from this great guest? I mean, some of these knowledgeable.
Oh yeah, there are some. I'll let Brian.
Put them up, please.
Brian, please do bring them up, Brian, if you can for me.
Put these comments up.
I'm looking up. I was just looking up. The guy's name is JCC, by the way, or World of JCC is what he's on. His name is John Charles, by the way. That's who that commentator was.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm trying to see who he supports. But go ahead. If you can read them out too, it'd be great.
Delante, I mean, if you want to pick out the ones.
Yeah, Delante.
I'm not sure which ones you're referring to.
Go through them. So, okay, sure, Brian, no problem. So stuff like this from Dustin, I don't agree with Gunnar on important things, but both of us never bought the Arteta thing. Dustin knows exactly because I remember his video. He was cussing. Him and Turkish are the only ones I respect out of the Arsenal fans. They called it. He called it at the start. You know what I mean about the code man not being good enough. Just ones like that. And then there's something about Red Rebellion about her son getting paid. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. All these channels which get together to cook. Yeah, Terry Trout. Yeah. I saw that one. Yeah, that's fine. That's one that Kevin said right at the bottom about the who brings to Toothless.
I mean, we've been top all season, mate, haven't we? We've been top since the first couple of games, haven't we? And we've stayed top. It's not like we came from behind or any bollocks like on Arsenal when they got injuries. They were in front of us, mate. They were miles behind us anyway. They were too far behind anyway, in my opinion. But now we might be able to take our foot off the gas, like, and prioritise the Champions League in early May. That'd be funny if we could put out a severely weakened team via Arsenal to clinch the league with a draw. So we got the Champions League semi-final a few days after or something like that. That'd be funny. You've selling DVD on the bench and win the league, like with the shadow team, because we've got something else to do.
He is
well,
from
just for me on the
London,
Arteta one. I think he is.
He might be a Spurs fan. I'm trying to find him.
Don't worry about that guy.
Okay, all
right. With the Arteta thing, 100%. I mean, I follow a lot of other sources which aren't based on YouTube and stuff like that, but it's commentary to, like, people back and forth, and it's people I've been reading their submissions and their comments for 10, 15, 20 years now. Some of these people on the same site and the same forum. And the overwhelming thing for Arteta is 70% support, but the Arsenal fans that don't rate Arteta cannot believe. I mean, they're actually sitting there agog, amazed at the fact that there's Arsenal fans who do still back this guy. There are Arsenal fans out there who have, from 3 years ago, have been saying this guy is useless. We need to get rid of him. He's not a serious manager. And then you've got all the people out there that, be positive or back him or back the project or whatever it might be. But you've got the small part of Arsenal fans, the more level-headed ones, the more kind of football knowledgeable ones are going, what are you falling for? What are you seeing here? What is this guy doing? He spent a shit ton of money. He played for Arsenal as a cheap last-minute Fabregas replacement. He played a lot more for Everton. He played for Rangers. He played for Sociedad. He's not an Arsenal legend. This guy, I've spoken to a couple of people now and said, you're doing your legends, your icons, your tier lists and all that. Before he became a manager, like, where would you have had Arteta on that list? It's Arteta, just guy who played for the club, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Not a legend, not an icon, not an anything. He was just a guy who played for us. Did okay, yeah, but he was no Fabregas, and that was the main thing. That was
he
when
was
they were under
he was a
attention.
captain. He was a captain, right?
I mean,
think he was
blank
I
stares.
think he was a captain.
Yeah, but
I'm
you're
not
getting
saying. I'm just adding that.
yeah, but you're getting blank stares. Yeah, he was captain. Oh
Yeah.
shit, Arsenal team.
Yeah.
I mean, you ask Arsenal fans. I mean, don't shoot the message. I'm telling you what I've been told by Arsenal fans. The guy is nothing to them.
Oh, I'm not dismantling. Yeah, I'm not. I wasn't
he came
saying
to
that
them
too,
and said,
yeah.
No, yeah, he wore the armband.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, basically, yeah, cool. He was 31 probably. So it's like, what? So now they don't understand why these Arsenal. Oh, he's a club man. He's a legend. It's like, no, he's not. He's absolutely not. Perez, Vieira, Henry, they're legends. Tony Adams, he's a legend. Arteta's not a legend.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gone straight from an assistant manager's job to there and not had as much money as everybody else, but had a lot of money. Has not had more money than everybody else, but had a ton of money. And he's got them the sum total of F4. At any other club, like, they've been brainwashed into thinking that there's something coming. That what you need to do is wait and be patient. Oh, you bold football fans, you're always so impatient, aren't you? You always want it now. Have a bit of patience, wait. And they've been tricked into thinking this with this guy. And then Arne Slot comes along and goes, bish, bash, bosh, in the door, 5 minutes, top of the league, top of the Champions League. And they're like, oh, no, but that's that's because of this and because of that. And he's not better. No, that's not showing up Arteta at all. Oh, he took over this team and that. It's like, so all those Arsenal fans, no, it takes time, 4, 5, 6 years. To get, it's like, well, Slot just come in and bang, straight away. They can't handle it. They can't deal with it.
Another thing they've got to deal with is Slot hasn't even bought anybody, right? In the summer or in January, he's brought in no new. I mean, Chiesa, but we can't even really count him. He's featured that little, and the goalie who in here, yeah. So he's done this without bringing anyone in, and that must make it that little bit more painful for them when they look at Arteta and his work. He's had loads of time, and he's got his own players that most of them have come in under him. A lot of them,
all of
to be
them.
honest,
There's no one left from Emery.
Arsenal at one point, when they come close again last season, I thought they'd be really good this season. And okay, they've dropped off on that, but they are a good side. I mean, yeah, they haven't won anything. You can always say that, but they're not that far away. I do think they should change manager. They won't, but I would if I was them. I'd get someone else in,
I've just never been a fan of over promotion. Nolante, I don't know about you. I've never been a fan of managers who did nothing or have done nothing being given big jobs. I've never been a fan of that. I don't think it's right at all. I don't know. That to me, it always sucks. What's he done?
Yeah, he got the
Arsenal's
job.
too big a club to be given that.
Shadow. Well, I was going to call him his shadow, but he was Pep's tutor. He's just got it because he was Pep was his
City
chief.
coach.
That's the only reason he got the job. Arsenal thought we'll have a bit of that, like, and
sprinkled as magic dust.
Really, isn't
it? Copying. That's all it is, copying. Like, because Pep and fair play to Pep, regardless of monies and 155, he's brought brands of football that thought he wouldn't work, and because of that, clubs are just, even Chelsea copying the format. It's just embarrassing. They thought, oh, because he worked next to Pep, he was part of it, so he can do his own thing. And the same with Chelsea. Although fair enough, Maresca went to Leicester. They're just, again, they're all copycats, and they're getting found out. That's all it is. Slot has his own way of thinking.
Making them look bad, and he stops making them all look bad this season.
But you see the difference.
That's why Nuno's manager of the year for me. That's me, Nuno's manager of the year for me. Because he's done it.
I like Nuno. I've always liked Nuno, so pleased for him that he's doing well with Forest.
He just said, fuck that Pep shit. Basically, he just said, forget that Pep shit. I'm going to do this. Live with it. Deal with it. And most people can't, because they're all, like you said, they're all copying Pep. And they all expect the other team to play by their rules. Basically, it's like, no, play football. Play out from the back. And Nuno's like, nope. Deal with it. Deal with Chris Wood. Deal with Morgan Gibbs-White. Deal with pace and strength. And they can't, because they've been coached into this Pep ball.
No, Brian, I totally agree. He's up there. If they finish Champions League spot, he's there for manager of the year for me, definitely. Yeah. I mean, if they were, I know the manager who wins the league always gets it, but if they were to give it to Nuno instead of Slot, I would have complained. I'm not bothered about manager of the year, if I'm honest. But if they give it to him, I would complain. And you know what? The funny thing is, guys, and the chat, look, and that's the difference between Slot and Arteta and Maresca. I'm naming these two. Other managers, maybe, Brian, you can mention that copy Pep's way. No, we want to do this, we're the press. The thing is, with Slot, he admires Klopp and Pep. He's admitted it. He's understood them. He appreciates them, but he plays his own way. And people go on about Pep Paul, but they need. And Brian and 12 and Nate, you would know. Pep Paul didn't start in 2008. Holland are the originators of the kind of tactics. The great Dutch sides, they started all that business.
Yeah.
Spain, Barcelona evolved it, they copied it, hence Johan Cruyff was the manager of Barcelona.
It was Cruyff going to Barca.
This is it.
Like the big turning point, wasn't it?
Exactly, Lee. And this is what people forget, because obviously some of them are young and you can't help when you were born. But this is what I'm saying. But Slot, one thing about Slot, he respects and admires, but he plays his own thing. And obviously, and remember in the City game, I was, a little bit critical. I was a bit, but I get it. And that's the thing. You want a coach that doesn't have plan A, and that's the problem with Klopp at times. As great as he can be, sometimes I remember for about a year and a half, he kind of changed the shape a bit. He kind of changed the way a bit, and then he reverted back to type. But with Slot, you got a coach that can do plan A, B, C, D, or go to E. And that's what you want in a coach. You want to have alternatives. If I'm 2-0 down, switch it. Remember, for instance, Fulham, we were, what was it? Was it 2? No, was it 2-1? Or was it 2? No, we 2. The 2-1 down, or were we 2-0 down or 2-1 down? I can't remember. But when we had the 10 men, you see the switch, Graven Birch, you go centre back, and then the team is still tagging. This is what I want to see, my coach. If we lose the game, fair enough. You know what I mean? If we lose that 3-1, if we play the way we played, we lost that 3-1, you know what? I've got no complaints. You know what I mean? And this is what you want in a coach. And this is why Slot is who he is, and he's doing. He's not a copycat like some others. You know what I mean?
The one time, I really felt it, is what Ancelotti said about us being predictable in the Paris final in 2022. And he was right. I think if we'd went about that game a little bit differently, we could have won that. Or maybe the deflation that we felt from losing the league, so narrow, on the last day, played into it as well. But he said we were predictable, didn't he? And I thought we were in Paris that night. It was the one time, where it's really been obvious, I think.
Agreed, Lee. But you're right, Brian.
I was going to ask this too. I have a tangent question, since we are speaking on the London team. my tangent question would be: there's a player that was not only called world class, but was also being called as being the savior. A certain Gunnar Souls, I believe his name is, a content creator out there, was referencing how this player is the difference. He is the eagle, I think he called him, or he called him something like he is the, as he was speaking on how his Arsenal were going from being the hunted to now the hunters, and how this was something I played for you guys. I played the clips, played the segment that he spoke on it at length about how poor of a team Liverpool are, especially compared to Arsenal, and how exceptional this certain player is. And that was a Martin Odegaard. And this is not a knock against Martin Odegaard. I think he is an exceptional player. But since we're on the topic of Arsenal, here is a question for you. Considering that there have been those that have been saying that we need some midfield resurgence, or we need some midfield backup, or we need people for our midfield. Okay. Now, they might be saying center, they might be saying a CDM, or they might be saying maybe even a different position, different position on the pitch. And but let's just push past that point. Okay, let's just think about if we were able to, if this player was available and this player wanted to come to our team, would you go for him? And that is, would Martin Odegaard be a fit for Liverpool? Considering, I know, and this is a thought, because I know that he's the captain of their team. I know this isn't a likely acquisition, but we're in fantasy world here, fantasy land, of these questions, and it's just a matter of, do you think he could be a fit for Liverpool's midfield in one way or another, considering he's fallen out of favor with a lot of people for Arsenal, a lot of people that were so all pro Odegaard, pro Martin Odegaard, have really, really turned their back on their captain, considering they had opportunities, like I'll bring up the occurrence when they had an opportunity to take a direct kick, and rather than Martin Odegaard, who is the captain of the team, step up and take it, he allowed for Raheem Sterling to take it. Or it was the case where I think he might have missed the penalty kick, or something like that. Or there's been occasions where Martin Odegaard's ability to be the man or be the captain of this team have been put into question. And there's those out there that have even said that he isn't their captain in their minds. They rather see a Gabriel, or they rather see someone else in that role for them, rather than the person their current captain. But I just had a question of, could Martin Odegaard play for this team? And if he would he be a starter? Would he be a squad player for you? Where would you play him, or who would you play him in front of instead of? Could you answer that question for me, panel? And in the chat, if you like Martin Odegaard as a player, could you see him? Could you look past? Well, it doesn't matter. He's an Arsenal player. We've obviously taken in players that are former Arsenal players and had them become beloved Liverpool Reds. Would you, if Martin Odegaard wanted to come to Liverpool, would you push the button? Would you push the button on that acquisition? I see some people in the chat are saying,
yeah, we do. Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian. You can start off then.
Yeah, no, I just want, without, I mean, okay, I just mean it without all the blah, 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 but, they said this, they said this, they said that, would you take Martin Odegaard at his best? Of course I would. I've heard a lot of Arsenal fans say, without him, you're not, what would we be? And now it's like, what do you expect from Martin Odegaard when he's only got Ranieri and Trossard and all these people ahead of him? When he was probably last season, I think maybe, was when he was really, really good. Another guy that's played a lot of football, young age. Would I take him at Liverpool? Yes, of course I would. Definitely. I think he'd work well under slot. Whose place does he take? I don't know. We work around it. If he's in the squad, he's in the squad. But would I just in terms of would I take Martin Odegaard? Yes, he's someone who I thought was going to be like on that list of like 10 wonder kids that was never heard of again. Kind of when he went to Madrid when he was like 15, I think. Didn't quite work out, and he was going to be another one of those. Oh, who was that guy? He went to Madrid at 15, Danish guy. Oh, Odegaard, yeah, he was going to be the next Messi. Remember him?
Yeah, I remember
So it looked like he was going that
when he
way.
was a young player. That there's a lot of noise about him when he was a young
Yeah,
player.
it just looked like that way. To me, it was going to go that way for him. Yeah, no, I just thought he was going to get eaten up by the machine and end up playing for, random clubs, But I thought he did really well to come back to Arsenal. And yeah, him at his peak, fully fitness, firing. Yeah, great passer of the ball. Maybe not the world's most athletic kind of guy, definitely more of a creative guy. But he's proven he can hold his own in Premier League midfield. He doesn't play as a 10. So that kind of quality, wouldn't overlook it. But there's him and I imagine probably two or three other players at Arsenal now that are looking. They're sending their text to the agents, going, "See what's about in the summer, will you?" Because I don't think this is going to happen here for me. There's a couple, Gabriel, Saliba especially. Saka, I can see just staying there and wasting his career, getting kicked around the place and played every minute. I can't see him ever leaving. But the likes of Odegaard, Saliba, who else do they have? Maybe, I don't know. But those two guys definitely, I can think, look, it's a short career. I'm not going to wait around another 4 or 5 years at Arsenal.
How long's he under contract for? Do you know?
They probably got him tied down for a good while. I wouldn't be surprised they have him tied up.
And Saliba should be tied up for a while, shouldn't he? I would imagine he is.
Yeah,
He might want to move on, mightn't he? You never know. It could be that bad for Arsenal. Some players might want.
If I was one of their players, Lee, I'd just be saying, look, I'd be ringing up the agent and saying, look, is there any word from the club? Are they looking at getting rid of this guy or bringing in a new manager? Because if they're not, then look, get me out of here if you can.
He has quite a big number. He has a big contract actually, but he has 4 years left on his contract, including this year, 4 years. He's done, and his contract goes to 2028, and he is making quite a bit of money right now. He's making £240,000 a month or week, excuse me, £240,000 a week.
Yeah,
he's their third highest. He's their third highest earner on their team currently. Third highest earner.
Martinelli hasn't got a long injury, so when he's back, they can't cry because they'll have him, Trossard and Sterling. That's not that weak. That's up there. 3 good forwards. Do you know what I mean? That's bollocks to say we got to. You know what I mean? Okay, Havertz and Saka would still be out, but if Martinelli's back, I don't see what they're bitching about. You'll have 3 decent forwards and then Sterling and Trossard.
Well. Let me hear your opinion, and let me hear Alante's opinion. I've got the opinion somewhat of the chat. I saw a Red Armchair supporter say no. I think Lee said no, I want to say. No, he said he can sit on our bench if we had to sign him. Wouldn't be a starter. Even Jones is showing more than him. Anyone else chime in? I think that's all that chimed in so far. I think Kevin also didn't say that. I don't know how much per losses. What I don't know that. Wait, what does that mean? Third highest ITW. Kevin, just tell me what that means, and I'll answer your question. But I just wanted to hear your opinion, Alante, and I want to hear your opinion, Lee. Would you take? You could just keep it short and sweet, if you want. Would you £240,000 a week, Mr. Odegaard? Does he get into our team? Lee? Okay, Lee might be away from his microphone.
No, just on money. Yeah, money. No, I wasn't thinking contract wise, but I just meant as a footballer, as a player. I think it would have taken him in, a couple of years.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can just answer
Do we
that one.
buy him now?
Yeah,
no.
Nothing to do with the money. I didn't mean to put it that way.
Yeah. No, we ain't buying him tomorrow. But no, I was also going to bring up because he was one of my quiz questions on the first quiz I did for the Day Trippers was about it was 10 years ago kind of thing, and 10 years ago there was a list of like the highest paid teenagers in world football,
right?
And there was a three. He was one of the answers in it. I said this player paid here. He was getting paid 80. I think if I remember. No, I think it was 65 grand a week
as a kid.
15. When he was 15, he was on 65 grand a week.
Yeah.
If he's been good with his money and putting it away, he is going to have, he's been earning big. That's more than Luis Diaz earns right now.
Yeah.
And he was earning that as a teenager 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He is that's how big a deal he was when he went to Real. It wasn't like, they snapped him up for 1.1 million this guy was a big deal, and they gave him a huge contract because he did the tour at Liverpool, he did the tour at Arsenal, went to all the big clubs, met with the managers. I mean, from the age of 15, that's how big a deal this kid was. So I'm just glad, if nothing else, I'm just glad that he isn't going to be on the other top 10 list of remember this wonder kid. He's actually broken out and got away from Madrid. I think he went to Sociedad, he went to Herenveen, and then he pitches up at Arsenal. But yeah, it's because you just see so many of these young kids that are the next this and next that. They go to a huge club like Madrid, which is what I was worried would happen with Arda Güler. Just go and get swallowed up and never play, don't play for 2 years and all that stuff that made you good. You've lost your confidence. So I just like the fact that Odegaard actually, he was the real deal kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah. Well, then, I guess Nalate doesn't want to answer that one. But then I'll ask you real quick follow-up question, because I think, he's technically gifted. I think he's got excellent vision and passing. He's got great positional awareness. I think he could fit in as an additional spark for our team, technically, with a Dominic Szoboszlai. And if you had Dominic Szoboszlai and McAllister on the pitch, it'd be great. Or Grav and Odegaard with him and Maka, or whatever combination of the fold that you want to do. Even a Curtis Jones involved in that scenario, you have a dynamic group. You could throw in. There's so many different ways that you could throw into that midfield if you had a player like an Odegaard to be in that part. But it was just a question. I know that's not likely. He makes a lot of money. He's tied up for a lot of years. It was just a question. This is an off-the-cuff question. Had nothing to do with my interest in saying that he should be, or that's our target, or anything like that.
Saka back in the day was one. Do you remember Martinelli and Saka were people that
that's where
interesting.
That's what was my follow-up question was, Brian. Was going to say, would you take Martinelli now? And I know he had an injury. I know he's going through an injury, and
he's had a bad year and a half, man. He's had a bad year. His form is way down there compared to what it was.
Right.
Klopp was a big fan. We know that Klopp was vocally and publicly praised him.
He's got 3 years left on his contract currently. He's up. It'll technically with this year included. So he's got 2 years after this year. And Martinelli makes about £180,000 a week. So he makes quite a bit of dough. Their salary, their wage table is is really, really a high wages, despite the fact that, yes, we do have some that are obviously with the 350 that Mohamed Salah makes. That obviously makes it look a little bit different for us, or makes it look, you can say, oh, well, he makes a lot of money. Yeah. But we don't have anyone else in that 300,000 mark. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players. Saka makes about 200,000. He makes 195,000. But You know, they've got 5 players that make £200,000 a week. That's a lot of dough. They've got some heavy budgets to weigh on. But
well, it would have been interesting to see if we ever had actually, if we'd managed to get Saka out of there, because I know the idea was that we were trying to get Saka in the way that we got Elliott, in the way that we got Carvalho, Rio. These get them as academy players and pay a tribunal fee. It's just we would have had to convince them to leave there and come to us.
Commit. Yeah, to commit.
It would have been interesting to see, though, because Saka plays where Salah plays. I know he played a lot of times for them. Well, not a lot of times, but he played sometimes at left back, left wing back to get him into the team. He played it, but clearly right wing is his position. So what would have happened, if we'd kept a Salah and had a Saka? He wouldn't have gotten to dominate our team the way he dominates that Arsenal side. Like, he's their Salah in terms of how important he is in terms of goal contributions and all that. Not as high up as Salah, obviously, but it's comparable. Especially when you give a striker like Jesus and Havertz and Trossard, who don't do anything ever, basically. Obviously, he's going to be way up in your kind of main man. But then Martinelli, a couple of years ago, I think that was more like we were trying to get him when Arsenal got him for like the 3-4 million or 6 million, maybe they got him for from Brazil. We're interested in him as well, but he's had a big drop off. But no, it'd be really interesting what will happen to Saka at Liverpool.
One of the biggest money was Nicolas Pepe, wasn't it?
Pepe.
70 million, and that was ages ago. It was 70 million. It was like so long ago for the 70 million.
That hurt them. That hurt them a lot.
That's how much that would be now. If they spent that much, and that would be like.
Lee, do you know how much they got back for him?
Yeah,
nothing.
Peanuts.
0.
Nothing.
He left
I thought so. We only got nothing back.
On free.
Yep.
They paid him probably. He's a 72 million player, but he was coming for France. So let's be generous. Let's just be generous and say 5 million a year. It probably was more than 5 million a year. Call it 6. So that's 6. Therefore, that's 24 million. That's 100 million conservatively, and he walked away for nothing and did nothing.
It was a crazy fee at the time because it was a while ago, mate. And it was a crazy fee, but it just didn't go well, did it, for him? It was a bad sign.
That is a bad transfer.
Yeah.
Wow. I just recognized too. I just realized that Saliba is only 23 years old. I never really thought. He seems like he's so much older than that for some reason.
Yeah, Ibu's only a little bit older, isn't he? Ibu's only 24, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. That would be a dynamic group. Saliba's coming up on his. It's just an interesting conversation. I know we were going to talk about. We're going to do ratings tomorrow because we're getting a little bit late in the episode here, and I know that segment normally takes quite a bit of time to sometimes get through, but I do have a show lined up for us tomorrow, so we'll definitely get involved into that. But just looking at it, I know that why we're bringing up the Odegaard, why I said the Martinelli, why maybe I even mentioned Saliba. It's because a lot of these players are going to eventually get to a part in place where they're going to have to be committed and invested in the vision and the journey of what Arsenal is doing. Saliba makes £190,000 a week. He's only signed up for, after this year, he'll have 2 years left on his contract. I'm certain that they'll want to get him into get him signed up for another deal. But all the same, 2 years, if he wants to leave on a free, he could leave. And at age 25, he could leave on a free from Arsenal if he really, truly wanted to do that. He's a player that, was expendable at one point, I say expendable, but I say it that way in the sense of that he was a player that they did loan out and go and have to, he ended up playing in France for a little while. Then eventually he did come back to the team. Now Real Madrid is apparently put their likes or put their targets on him. They would like for that to be another situation where they do their whole, we like you, but we want you to join on a free because we're not going to pay for you type situation. It's pretty wild to say. But it's just interesting. 23 years old, could leave at 25. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, but they do have a lot of question marks that are going to be starting to surmount on this team. And it's going to be very interesting to see where and how it all works out for them. Yep. Oh, no, appreciate it, Kevin. Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, nice one, Kev. Appreciate that.
Definitely. We do our best. We're still working on Lee, but we're doing our best to not talk over each other. So it's all good.
Nolante, you will find Nolante on Fozzie's channel, the LRFC Forever. If you just search LRFC Forever, you'll find Nolante and JK are doing almost daily now. Great shows in the afternoon. The afternoon to kind of great chat. Nice long shows. Or good chat. And very similar vibe to here. So head over there, man. LRFC Forever. If you search that, it'll come up. Yep.
You can find these guys on the Irishman football channel as well. You can find them, as Brian just said, on LRFC, and obviously you can find them here on the Liverpool 12th Man channel. So,
if he does, he hasn't told us about it yet. If he does have a singing channel, he hasn't told us about it yet. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's out there somewhere just putting up videos under a different name.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's singing right now. Maybe he's on mute for a while.
You guys are funny. I just freestyle when I want. If I feel like it, I go with the flow. But maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But maybe for bands, some of you guys will know it anyway.
On the corner with Nolante. Just on the corner. That's where you'll find him on the corner freestyling.
Yeah. But I can officially say, apart from here, Liverpool 12th Man, obviously, like Brian kindly said, for his channel, and if you know the rest of what Brian said, and the Irishman, those are the only Liverpool channels I'll be on. No one else, no other channels, but those are the only ones I'll be on.
I can't believe it.
Those are the only ones.
He's a man of taste, you know.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
He's a man of culture. He's a man of culture.
Indeed, exactly. Yes. And if you see anyone else's, it'll only be confirmed with the boys. They have given me the green light. I'll always discuss it with them first. But that's where I'll be, and that's where I'll stay until I go to an early grave. And I happily with Liverpool winning everything year after year after year, and I'm setting more people year after year. I'm gonna cook. I'm just waiting for the confirmation. So if we're gonna cook, I'm gonna upset quite a lot of people, even some Liverpool podcasters, which is sad to say, but
they deserve it. There's a lot of people out there that deserve it.
Exactly.
Because you don't understand. Yeah. Go ahead. Finish your thoughts. No. You absolutely go ahead.
Okay, no. All I was gonna say quickly, because some of them deserve it, and again. And we have to be honest, guys, in every fan base, unfortunately, because there's a lot of us support no matter what club, there are a bunch of it. There's some small minority of idiots in our fan base. And believe me, and all of us here in different ways, I'm here to call that. I don't play, but it is what it is. But what I will say is, quickly, just before 12 you was going to say something, the last bits to round up the show, I would take Odegaard. I would take him. Yeah, probably. I'm overdone. I would have said yes. Form-wise, right now, no. But if you look in reality, if you were to go into our starting 11, probably yeah. I probably would. I can't lie. And in terms of Martinelli and Saka, it's funny when I first came out, Saka is good. The Martinelli and Klopp, I rated Martinelli more than Saka. But then the following season, I was like, no. Saka's the guy. Saka's the guy. If he was in our team, Saka was in Liverpool, oh boy, it's a wrap. It is a wrap. Him, no. Anyway, it's not gonna happen, but that's fine. We move.
Okay.
But where does he play in that? Where does he work? Like in this team? Okay, like even just say right now, we had Saka tomorrow, right? And we know what is best. Where are we? Where are you playing Saka? Because I'm with you. The guy's fucking phenomenal, but we've got the one guy in the league that plays in the same position that's better than him at his peak or at his best, and that's Mo. So where would you put Saka in this team right now?
Play him as an 8, maybe.
No. Oh no. Remember when we got Mane and Salah came in, and then Salah was in Mane's position, and what did the club do? He put Mane on the left. Saka will have to go on the left.
So you're saying so that you'd put him on the left then?
Yeah.
Put him left wing.
Yeah. Left foot. Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm not saying come on. I'm not trying to like set you up for a fall. I'm just wondering what position would you put him in, kind of. So you put him on the left over Cody and over not over this guy, but
oh yeah, no doubt about it. It's like Salah Mane. Like sometimes you got to force someone into a different position, and so Klopp did. Salah came in the right. He said, "Mane, I want you still in my team. You go to the left," and we know what happens after that. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be interesting. That's what I was just talking about earlier. It'd be really interesting to see what would happen if we had done a Harvey Elliott and gotten Saka to say, "Do you know what? I want to go to Liverpool," as a kind of a tribunal job. Like, where would he be now? Where would he be playing? What, like, because Salah, all that.
I say, yeah.
Interesting. See what would happen.
It'd be interesting. It'd be very interesting if we'd done that. Because it would have been interesting, because you know what I think would have been very interesting is with the talent like Saka and with the the age bracket that Mohamed Salah is in, it would have been a question of whether he would have got that extension or whether this team would have said, hey, with a talent like Saka, now maybe this is the time. This is the age of Saka, as opposed to continuing on with Mohamed Salah. But we didn't have that question to answer. So
yeah, we did talk about the idea of having Saka though when he first come through really well, and as a replacement for Mo, we were talking about him weren't we, ages ago, before he hit his peak.
Yeah. Arsenal shut that down quickly, which I understand. Understandable.
They knew how good he was. They're like, no.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to see it as
I think before Mo signed his new contract on it, we were saying, okay, who can we have if Mo's going, before he signed that new one, the last one. That was the name, that a lot of people were saying, weren't they?
I was just going to... go ahead.
Sorry.
Ask your question. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Just a quick question to you guys and the panel in the chat. Let's just say Mo signs his contract, and again, just like you were saying, 12, just as this one's a more realistic thing, but as you were saying, similar to your terms. If Salah signs a new contract, would you sign, let's just say, someone that could potentially be in the future Tyler Diblin for Southampton as a backup?
Rephrase that again. How's that? How are you saying it?
Yeah, so I said if Mo signed a new contract, so he signs a new 2 to 3 year contract, would you get something that I think this season is, unfortunately, his team will get relegated, but he's been a stand-up player as someone for the future that could potentially be something great in terms of Tyler Diblin?
I think against us, wasn't he? He was decent against us.
Yeah, he's been good.
He's running at us and that, he had a few runs at our defence, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did manage to score 2 goals against us that day. He was part of that.
You're talking about Saka, right?
No, 12.
Tyler Diblin at Southampton.
Oh, Southampton.
Yeah, Southampton. Yeah.
I'll tell you, if there was anyone that I would like to see us go for, that would be I would like to see us. I'd like Ibu to start having conversations with a certain player that he plays on his national team with, and telling him in 2 years we can make it the French connection in the center back situation. That's what I would be looking at. I don't know about Southampton.
Do you reckon he'll ever be linked with Tchouaméni again in the future? Do you think he'll leave Madrid at some point and we might get linked with him again? What do you guys think about the prospect of having Tchouaméni in the future?
It depends on. I answer myself real quickly. It depends on what the price is. I don't like the price tag that's been associated with him, primarily because it's a lot of money. I know that who cares? Some people don't care about the money. It's not our money, quote unquote, that's being spent. I get that, but just looking at it from from an executive perspective, it's a lot of money, and it does make me question as to if a player like that. Normally, when a player like that is leaving Real Madrid, especially, it makes me question as to what is it, and why are they letting a player like that leave? Because normally they don't let players like that leave, and it usually it's you could say, oh well, they let Varane or they let Casemiro go or something like that, but that was when they were well long in the tooth when it comes to their stature. So I wouldn't. It would make me question as to why is it that he's looking at why they're looking to get rid of him. And two, I would look at it as like, yeah, he had his opportunity to come and play for us once. That might be a little bit of a stickler as to maybe I pass on him.
Yeah, maybe he moved a bit early. Like they bought him. He was only 20 when they bought him, wasn't he? Tchouaméni, Madrid. So maybe he moved too early to Madrid. I don't know.
Oh no, it's Madrid. That's the thing. It doesn't matter
That's
which
it,
player you are.
it's Madrid,
If
isn't
Barcelona, they're gonna go unless something happens. They love the club.
It doesn't work for everyone, does it? Like it's a big place to go. Like not everyone succeeds, but I think he's a good player anyway. Like still a good player. I like the idea.
Tchouaméni, is it?
Tchouaméni, yeah.
We take end up with. I'd take Dibbling to answer this question. I would definitely take Tyler Dibbling. That guy is way too good. It's very difficult to look that good in a team that bad as a young creative player. And to actually do what he's doing, stand out. It's special, I think if they do go down,
do you reckon if we don't buy it, someone else will then? Do you reckon someone else will buy him?
No, someone will give him 40 million. He'll be going somewhere for 40 million, whether it works out for him, whether it be the right move, but there's absolutely no chance. That guy is they're like if they were doing even like say slightly better, sort of 14th, 15th, people be talking about him a lot more because he's incredibly talented. But yeah, whether we buy him or not, but I like him. Yeah, no, he showed against us what he can do. He can pick up a ball in his own half, see straight towards the other goal, and run at it and beat 3 players easily beat players with the ball at his feet. It's a rare skill. It's a very rare skill. And if someone gets him and gets the best out of him, it's not a name that's going to sell aftershave. Dibblings. Yeah, it's a real old-fashioned kind of name. He hasn't got that sexy name. He's not Spanish. He's not whatever. He's not Brazilian. But wow, what a little player. I think whoever gets him, he's not staying there. So I've been massively impressed by him, man. Definitely. Him, and maybe he might be my new Jaden Philogene. He might be my new Jaden Philogene. Maybe
Jared Bowen, like because he got.
He is direct as shit, KJ. KJ is right there. He is
He
direct as shit, man. He just gets the ball. He sees the goal, even if it's 50 yards away, and goes, "Yep, I can get there." I can beat those players. I'll get there. And he doesn't just run down blind alleys. He can pick a pass afterwards. But that is just, you can't learn that. You can't teach it. You're just born with that kind of DNA. So he's going to be a big player for somebody. It'll probably be bloody Man United who say, "Oh God, we need something. Oh, here's 70 million," and offer him 300 grand a week, and he goes there and stagnates. But or a Chelsea, he if he goes to the right club, yeah, very good. But
we do have a relationship.
Can't have more. Can't have more. Can't buy more.
I was going to say we do have a relationship with Southampton, so we have a good relationship.
Yes, we'd like to hope so. We've sent him enough bloody money, haven't we? Asher will take that Lambert lad.
At one point, when we bought that many players that it became a joke. But I think it's still
around the fact there we'll take that
money, you know what I mean? He did get paid.
Who owns that BMW in the car park? We'll take that too if it's for sale. Anything. Yeah, we were just. Is your tea?
No, I like the idea of buying him, this young maverick kid. Yeah, why shouldn't we buy him? Like, get him, mate, in case he does a Jared Bowen and starts scoring loads of goals and that as well. Get him in.
Yeah. Jared Bowen, unfortunately, is a little bit too old for our likings, but yeah, still a very, very talented player. Absolutely talented player himself too. Dibbling is direct. And also, what was the other question? Oh, someone else. KJ was calling out no to Saliba. Oh, interesting. Marcus Rashford apparently has committed his future to Villa, by the way. Just know that was just announced. I don't know if anyone saw that.
The idea that if there was any way on earth we could absolutely replace VVD.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Because to pair them two up together would be good. And Aurelian as well, Chouameni. Get him in the door as well.
That's how I'm looking at it. I'd be looking at it as
French players.
Yeah, I've been looking at it as an absolute incredible transition. To be able to have possibly Saliba and Ibu in the mid in our center back pairing, I think that'd be fantastic to have. But what else? We have only about 5-6 more minutes left of this show here. Brian's talking about his chef culinary skills. Until Arsenal get him in the summer to replace, what's saying? Oh, they are definitely doing the legwork, by the way. I already know Madrid's putting in the work to get Saliba because he's certainly a player that would help solidify their their back center back pairing. Let's see what else. If anyone else put some other thing before we leave, is there anything you guys want to talk about before we bounce out? Trying to see what.
Well, there was that one thing someone brought it up there around that weird little fucking thing that might be happening with the Club World Cup. Which, guess what? All of a sudden, people have realized something. That they should have seen coming a long time ago, which is they're going to be playing a tournament in the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Normally be what we would call a transfer window being open. So let's just say you're Chelsea and you play your first game of that World Club Cup thing in the summer, and then someone wants to buy your player.
Yeah. What happens?
And that team may also be in the Club World Cup. Transfer window is open. Can't stop it happening. What if they open his release clause? What if you're Nkunku and you play for Chelsea, right? And you're playing Madrid in the next round. And there's a week in between it. And Madrid open up meet your release clause and sign you in that week. They're like, oh yeah, actually, fuck, we haven't thought about that, have we? So now we're like, oh shit, what will we do? So they're trying to now do a thing where there will be now this shit gets wordy and complicated and blah blah blah, but it sounds to me like they want to have a 10-day, I think it is, window before that tournament starts where the clubs that are involved in the tournament can trade players, and then after that window will close and it will be open for everybody else, but the teams that are in the Club World Cup can't buy or sell players, and then a new window will open up again then later on. I mean, well, that's just brilliant, isn't it?
I'll tell you what's unique about that. Yeah, unique about that too is that a lot of times, let's say you do have a deal that's about to go through. Let's say hypothetically it's going through and it's during that window period, and it's a player that obviously you utilize or is a coveted player, but he's someone that the deal is just too good to be good, too good to be passed on. Do you not play him? Like as these players, you don't want to chance players getting injured and the likes. Player goes out there, pulls a hammy or something like that. Yeah,
a whole lot of what ifs and what about that, and like what if we want to buy a player that's at one of those clubs, and for some reason we aren't able to do it in that window, whatever it might be, and then they go off and say, oh, no, you can't buy that guy now for, I don't know, whatever, what is it, three weeks? I don't know how long that tournament lasts. Mm-hmm. It's a big tournament, so it's not just like 2 or 3 days. Mm-hmm. So now you have these, like the world window will be open, but the FIFA window, it's like they're going to have 2 different transfer windows in the summer, but there's going to be a whole basic chunk of time where certain clubs can't do business, and they're all the big clubs. So if we're going to be, maybe clubs you might want to be interested in buying a player from, it's fucking stupid, KJ. It's so stupid. Now we've had to come up with a new version of the transfer window just to accommodate this summer tournament that FIFA just gone ahead and created and invented. This is this is killing football now. Now, like, what are we supposed to do? Like, we're supposed to just follow. We're not in that tournament because we chose to stay out of it. Now we have to kind of put our transfer plans on hold to deal with this crap. And then you'll get like a big rush when it opens up again. And like you said, we might be looking at a player. He goes to that Club World Cup and then he, God forbid, breaks his leg. What happens then? If you make commitments, it's just so stupid. Yeah, no, Lee is saying we could have gone to it, this one that's on in the summer, but it was an invitation thing, and we turned down the invitation because we didn't want a summer tournament.
Exactly.
Like,
thank God
we
for
chose
that.
not to go.
Yeah, thank God.
Even though the winner gets 100 million, which is as much as you get from winning the Champions League or the Premier League. Like, the prize pot is over $1 billion. But we just said, no, we don't need it. We don't need this. We don't want to play in a summer tournament in an off season because there is no World Cup, no AFCON, no thing. There is no Euros. It's a summer off, a rare summer off. So do you want to play in this tournament? And we're like, no. Maybe you have our own commitments and all that, but they're clubs are going into it because basically if you win it, it's 100 million. That's like I said, that's as much as you get for winning the Champions League or the Premier League, basically. So that's a huge prize pot. The prize pot overall is like 1.2 billion. Just so even just turning up and going, hey, we're here. Yeah, there's 6 million quid. Finish last of everything. You get, like the team that comes second, third, fourth, you're getting 50, 60, 70 million. And they can put that into their transfer budget. We still said, no, fuck it, man. We don't need that. So it's insane, and now it's going and messing up the transfer window. And nobody seems to have seen it coming.
How long does it go on for? Do you know?
I think it's around 3 to 4 weeks. It's around 3 to 4 weeks because there's a shitload of teams in it.
Yeah,
it'll probably be spread over. Oh, it's a proper like 32 team tournament kind of thing. It's basically they're trying to.
Are Real Madrid going, or do they say they couldn't be bothered? Are they going? Are they invited?
Who?
Real Madrid to this Club World Cup. Are they going to it?
I don't know if they're going to it, but I believe they all the big names or all the big teams were invited.
Oh yeah, they invited everybody. Well, I mean, everybody wanted to, but
yeah. Be interesting. Well, I'll look at it, like, you know what I mean. I'll have a look at it if I can get it. Yeah, see what it's like. Watch some of the games or the highlights of them, rather. I would say rather than watching them live. But I'll have an eye on it, like, see what it's like.
It's football on TV. Of course, you're going to watch it. That's what they know. They know we're going to watch it because it's football on TV.
It's football on TV. It's something to watch. It's definitely something.
They know we're going to watch it.
Well, got into a lot of different topics today. It was a very impassioned conversation. Hopefully you guys got some insight as to what's being said outside of our normal circles, and maybe even some way to speak on the subjects when people do engage you with the whole narratives that they're trying to be drawn. Again, we're going to do this. We'll do a ratings tomorrow, most likely, for this past game. We'll also, but there's another show that I have lined up for tomorrow. That's going to be a potpourri of football for us. So we'll be able to get that in tomorrow. Appreciate everyone that joined us early. Everyone that joined us late. I just appreciate the fact that you joined us in general, all the same, because there's plenty of other channels out there to choose from, but you chose this one to at least say hello or maybe drop a like or chime in, as so many of you did. And we do really appreciate that because it makes a difference. And we're hoping to be able to start to push towards some of the bigger numbers of people in our community that do frequent our channel. But for right now, it does not matter here nor there. I think that the people that do show up, like yourselves, are actually it's about quality over quantity. So we do appreciate you immensely that you guys show love and show support. But before we bounce, was there anything else that you want to quickly comment on or talk about real quick? Or if not, do give your final word to the chat and to those that are watching this on replay. Let's go ahead, Nolante.
Oh, sorry.
No, Nolante, I was going to go to you. I was going to go to you anyway.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
I'll just comment quickly. I know this is a bit a taboo subject, so maybe you might have to put it in tomorrow. It depends on how you want to go now. Just the whole, as a Ghanaian man, just the whole Jamie Carragher comments with the AFCON, and it's been interesting. And yeah, he was ignorant and he was clumsy, but I think the point what he's making is about, obviously, our Egyptian king, is that if we had an average season and in the Premiership or whatever, and you won the AFCON, that wouldn't guaranteed him winning the Ballon d'Or. But again, the only mistake he made was saying AFCON is not a major tournament. But the thing is that FIFA and UEFA, let's be real, they rate the Euros and the World Cup, of course, but they rate the Euros over the Copa America and the AFCONs, which is true. And I've seen so many people commenting on it. Now, Carragher as a person, you love him or hate him or whatever. Sometimes I disagree with him. I don't like, but sometimes I agree. But I don't understand all these legends having a go at him, some of the African legends of the sport. Because some of them, people like Joe Obi Mikel, who, you didn't win stuff for your country, you didn't win the Premier League. He's a fine one to talk because he was a squad player. And he's someone who's friends with a racist man in his team. We know who we're talking about. So it kind of annoys me that some of these hypocrites, the Africans, and then when people were disrespecting AFCON, none of these people, the coaches, none of them were in the media were keeping silence. But now, now I find it just a bit hypocritical. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. If you want to say before tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do that. I was going to also bring up the Troy Deeney comments as well. He got called out actually by what's the big guy's name that supports Liverpool?
Akafenwa.
Akafenwa called him out, and also he was on Talk Sport, and I'll get the clip. I'll try to get the clip for you. It was funny. He was on Talk Sport, and he actually they did this whole spiel. He went back and forth about like trying to defend his comment and defend even the return comment by Akafanwe. And but what was funny about it is they opened it up to calls. They let callers call in. I was like, oh man, here we go. Ding, ding, ding. Let's get the popcorn ready, because that's not Talk Sport, and the people that call in for Talk Sport, they can sometimes not give two Fs, to put it lightly. And someone tried to call him out. Someone tried to call him out on saying that he believes that the only reason why you talk about Salah is because it's a way for you to be relevant. Basically, he said that to him. Literally said that to him. He's like, I think that and not only did he say that, he said the reason why it's the only way you can be relevant is because when you played, you were poor. You were, he didn't say that word. He said something like pants, or he says, you were terrible. You were bad when you were playing. And then, oh my goodness, that Troy Deeney, it did all. Well, I played 700 some plus games, not too bad. And he's like, and who are you to call me out on it? I'm like, did you play? You didn't play. And I was just like, oh wow, dude, don't go down that route. Don't go on the route of calling people out like that. It was just funny. He was definitely what we spoke on earlier, rattled. But I'll get that clip. Hopefully I can get that clip for you and be able to play it for you, because it was a funny response. And it was a case where it's like, yeah, it's interesting. He's a player that he tried to justify him speaking on Salah, and why he said, to the eye, Salah is not for him. But we'll get on that tomorrow. That was something that I did have in the chamber for tomorrow, and we'll also bring up Jamie's comments as well. How you feel about that tomorrow too? But other than that, Lee, is there something that you want to say to the people before we bounce?
No, just thanks as usual, everyone. Thanks for your contributions. Thanks for turning up. See you again. Cheers, everyone.
Okay. Brian?
Oh, yeah. If you're going to goon responsibly.
All right, now. There you go. Great show as always. You guys in the chat made it great. So did this panel. Some good responses, some good answers, and as always, like I said, it's always a pleasure to be in your company. So hopefully you'll make it another situation for us tomorrow where we get the pleasure of sharing this platform with you. We're going to I think Brian, you had a show earlier.
No.
Okay.
No, I won't be doing it. I would like to do a show tonight, but no, I just love the fact that Lee asked me if I was going to do a show. That's the first person that's ever asked me, are you going to do a show tonight in a chat? So yeah, that was, thank you very much. Like I said.
Okay. All right. And with that said, people, we're going to let you go. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. It's TGIF. Enjoy it whichever way you're doing it. Just make sure that you're safe. Make sure that you continue to look after yourselves and look after your loved ones. It's incredibly important because, time is precious and it is meaningful to spend that time with each other and to make the most of it. So we are going to be back tomorrow. It'll most likely be the 7 o'clock hour. It'll definitely be a 7 o'clock hour. It'll probably be a 7 o'clock on the dot tomorrow, since it is the weekend. And as always, people, up the Reds. As simple as said, up the Reds. So we'll see you tomorrow. Again, be safe, take care, and God bless. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.